taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, calling me. They'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, calling me. They'll be calling me royalty. So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I'd never kiss the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane, it's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall, control. Feel it in my bones, I'm coming for the, coming for the. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. Sure do like to share your opinions, talking big like somebody's listening. Nobody's listening. It's so fun and games until it doesn't toss me out. I'll hit the ignition. Now you listen. Hop up in the window. Smaller and smaller you fade out. Hop up in the window. Like a no name, so sorry, but we're not the same. No, we're not the same. Boo-hoo, poor you, please forgive me, cause I don't feel any pity. I'm fed up with lies, you wanted my demise. Now you're watching me rise, rise, rise. Up in the window, smaller and smaller you fade out. Up in the window. Watch me levitate. You cannot kill my vibe, no, there's no way. I'm flying high above all your gravity, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. You cannot kill my vibe, no, there's no way. You can say what you want, call me insane, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. Watch me levitate. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. Let me go, there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me, now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly. Let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go on a new adventure. On a new adventure. adventure. It's my time, watch me build another life. Find another space, explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind. Hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away, we won't see another day. We both know the score, we've been here once before. So many words unspoken, you took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait, I can take the pain. I will surrender, let me go. It's a new adventure.
Alright, hello everyone and welcome to day 2 of the Vespertine Vantage Cup. Of course, being the Platinum Challenger. Today we'll be looking at Group 2, which will consist of a few new faces and a few new teams that you may not have seen with us last week. Going into the first game, we are looking at our Weekend Warriors versus QUT, so this will be a very interesting one. I haven't seen either of these two teams face off against each other, although I have seen a game here or there from both of them. I would say my favorites going in are most likely going to be Weekend Warriors. That being said, I know QUT is very capable. With that, Weekend Warriors obviously being a very popular team, everyone knows of them. What are you going to be looking for going into this first game and then the next couple of games as well?
Well, I think that even if they aren't the favorites, they're definitely a strong team from what I saw last time. Maybe they can look to make a few more plays, just try and get the ball rolling, and I think they definitely have a chance in this game.
Awesome. Yeah, so as I said, from what I've seen a couple of games from the both of them. QUT, I can't say how much I've seen from that. I'll say it's only been a game. But that being said, I know that they're a very strong team as well. And I'm definitely excited to see. I haven't seen these matchups. I'm not too sure what kind of champions we're expecting to see here, what kind of playstyles we're expecting to see. And hopefully going into this game, we'll get a little bit more info from these teams, and we'll know what to look forward to in the next couple of weeks coming as well. Because, of course, these teams are still relatively new and fresh to us here. But I have no doubt that today is going to be a great one. Group 2, brand new faces, like I said. Weekend Warriors for the first time on stream. QUT. We've got our very own team, Valkyrie Vertigo. Sorry, that's a terrible mess up there. Vespertine Vertigo. We've got another Valkyrie team in the mix as well, and that's where I made that mistake there. We've also got MCOM, and everyone knows MCOM's a great team as well. I'm very excited for these games here going forward, and I think today might even end up being a little bit better than it was last week. With that being said, though, we are going to end it short just here. We are, of course, waiting for teams to gather up and get ready for the games. And in about 5 to 10 minutes, you may see us jumping into Champ Select for the first game. So keep an eye out for that one, guys. And I hope you enjoy everything tonight.
All right.
much to bear, and you don't care, and I won't play alone. I got you in my sight. I keep all the words you said to me. I get you, get you, get you, get you on your knees. Rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll get you, get you, get you. Now you'll beg me, please. Hey. Now I stay away. You were never meant to save me. Now I stay away. I wanna hear you say you're sorry. Hate I even loved you. Hate I fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I kinda fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I kinda fell in love with you. With you, I cried with you. Now wanna be alone. I lied for you, I tried for you. You wouldn't play alone. I got you in my sight. I keep all the words you said to me. I get you, get you, get you, get you on your knees. Rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll get you, get you, get you. Now you'll beg me, please. Hey. Now I stay away. You were never meant to save me. Now I stay away. I wanna hear you say you're sorry. Hate I even loved you. Hate I fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I kinda fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you. Hate I kinda fell in love with you.
I remember the days, always at the same place, the same people every day. I will never forget this black old Corvette standing in front of my way. We were both in high school. I thought I was a fool. Oh, when I was falling for you. You keep drawing me in, and I know it's a sin. But even so, yeah, I need you, you, you. You taste like candy. Eat you on a Sunday. Feels so bittersweet, knowing I can leave. You taste like candy. Eat you on a Sunday. I can feel the beat on my heart and beats. 'Cause you taste like candy. I remember the night when you kissed me goodbye, and I said I'd be just fine. The next day you were gone, packed your car and moved on. But looking back, I still want you, you, you. You taste like candy. Eat you on a Sunday. Feels so bittersweet, knowing I can leave. You taste like candy. Eat you on a Sunday. I can feel the beat on my heart and beats. 'Cause you taste like candy. Tasty. bittersweet, knowing I can live. You taste like candy, eat you on a Sunday. I can feel the beat of my heart increase, 'cause it tastes like candy. I'm in the night, let's spark a light and see where it leads. Just you and me, hiding behind the curtain, a world so uncertain. Come and see where this leads. The circus. The circus.
Okay, and we are back, getting into Champ Select for Game 1. A little bit of a delay there, but we're in just a couple minutes late here. As we know, with Team 1 over here, Weekend Warriors, Team 2, QUT, and I can't wait to see what they get picking in this draft here.
Yeah, I'm particularly looking towards the mid lane. Should be a pretty exciting lane for both teams, really. I know that the Weekend Warriors, their mid laner, plays a lot of assassins, a lot of playmaking mids. So I expect to see a lot of play around that. Maybe a jungler that can support something like that. On the other hand, Chirp for QUT, more of the mage player. How do you feel about having a mage versus having one of these playmaking assassins?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you have those kind of matchups, it really just comes down to tempo in the early game. If the assassin can kind of find that tempo that they want and get on top of the mage kind of falls behind, right? The mage typically, obviously can win the 1v1, but does a little bit more in team fighting, provides a little bit more for the team other than just going in and one-shotting someone. If the assassin disables that, then the assassin's got the advantage.
Yeah, that's right.
That being said, last week we've seen some very interesting, I'd say mostly normal picks, but some very interesting games where things were just extremely bloodthirsty. They were like, at 10 minutes we'd seen a killer minute, things were going completely crazy. What's your take on the tempo that we might see tonight, maybe, with these two teams here?
Well, particularly looking towards the bot lane, I'm expecting, just looking at each of the players, what champions they play, I'm expecting Enchanter versus Engage. I'm sure if you play bot lane, you'll know that if you can get ahead, if you can get the push going as the ranged lane, you can have a real big advantage. You can have wards, you can have a lot of pressure towards the bot side, and you can let your jungler really just run over the bot side of the map. But if the junglers run the upside side of the map to each other, you know, if the engaged support gets to make these engaged players, it can get snowballed on pretty fast. We're looking towards the bans. There's a lot of jungle bans. Seems like we've missed a ban.
It does look like we have, yeah. So it's a bit unfortunate on that missed ban there. What I will say is not very unexpected is the Wukong pick. We had 3 games on stream, and in all 3 games we had a Wukong last week. I can't say what happened with the other side of the groups, so this group here, but I would imagine it's probably been pretty similar, seeing as we've seen the Wukong priority first pick here straight off the bat, and then we're seeing bot lane come out from the side of QUT. Lucian Nami, quite a I guess common matchup. Oh, sorry, pairing. You see them quite often. Nami definitely enables Lucian. Lucian's quite a strong champion right now, and then we see the Ezreal to play maybe a little bit safer. What's your take on that matchup?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point that the Lucian army is going to run over the lane. They might actually the Ezreal Karma definitely has the opportunity if they can get the push in early. They can bully the Lucian and the army to try and out trade them early. I don't like the Wukong early, especially if they can draft a heavy AP like a mage in the mid lane. He just he falls off really hard when he's not against a bunch of AD champions. We'll have to see how it goes though. I know it's definitely one of the priority picks for the jungle at the moment. It's also a top end jungle flex, which has some value. Yeah, here's the heavy AP, the Fiddlesticks maybe.
Yeah, and then we called it with that AP. Fiddlesticks. Be interesting to see if this goes support or jungle. I'm expecting this support from this, as I haven't really seen any Fiddlesticks jungle recently.
Really?
Maybe.
You think it might be Nami jungle?
Oh, sorry. You know what? That's a complete oversight on my part. I wasn't expecting a Fiddlesticks jungle. That's what I've. That's what I had stuck in the back of my head. But I guess it is, and that's going to be interesting to see in a game like this.
I'm a really big fan of the Fiddlesticks. I think it's a really underrated champion, especially this game. I mean, he's just going to one-shot everything, isn't he? Is the Karma and the Ezreal, like, so squishy. And the Wukong doesn't get any magic resist from his passive, it's only armor.
Definitely make a solid point there. We'll see what happens with the last couple of picks. Fiddlestick's something I'm interested to see. Not something I've seen a lot of recently, even in solo queue, in team play. Not something I've really seen, but that doesn't mean that it can't work, and I'm excited to see how it does work.
Yeah, I expect from the Fiddlesticks they'll probably look to play around the bot side and look for dives on the Karma and the Ezreal, especially they definitely have enough damage for that. Looking towards the bans, a Fiora ban kind of indicates that they're looking to play something a little bit more side lane focused, something maybe like a Scion. I'm not sure what to expect from these teams exactly.
And we've missed a ban again there. I'm sure that's not what they intended for.
Yeah, we'll see what's happening there.
It's definitely given them a small, I would say a small disadvantage for sure. They're missing out on getting rid of some of those key champions. They definitely, as we've mentioned, have a game planned in mind already. Most likely going to be focusing the bot with the Fiddle, getting those dives in. It will be interesting to see how the Ezreal and Karma kind of deal with that. Typically, they're a pretty defensive lane, but going up against something like the Nami Lucian and the Fiddlesticks on top of it. Interesting to see how they handle it. And we'll see what the last couple of picks are here too to complement
Yeah,
those.
exactly. I think QT, they're looking to go for a full dive comp. I'm expecting to see a big front line here. Yep, there we go with the Ornn. Meanwhile, Weekend Warriors are looking more towards the kind of poke style, looks like maybe. Looking for the Silas to try and steal some of these high value ultis. I don't know if you've ever been altered by a Lucian ulti with Silas, but it does a lot of damage. Although he doesn't build any crits, he doesn't get the bonus shots from it.
I haven't actually haven't seen that one a whole lot. I mean, I'm sure I have in my time. Typically, whenever I see a Silas, I'm looking at the big team fight ultis. Of course, damage is another crucial thing. But the Ornn ulti and potentially even the Fiddlesticks ulti, depending on how you can use it. Nami helps too. There are a lot of high value ultis here that they can use, depending on what kind of a playstyle they attempt to go for against this kind of a comp.
Yeah, well, we can see that they've tried to ban the Fiora for the Ornn, so that's the matchup they're looking for. I'm not sure what they'll try to pick into the Ornn. Mordekaiser definitely can win the side lane pretty hard. And separating the Lucian from the Nami, or ulting the Fiddlesticks as he goes in, is pretty high value. Kayle mid. So Kayle mid used to be like pretty common. I know Nemesis, all those kind of people that were playing it. They nerf the magic resist, so it does get pretty hard to live into some of these AP champions like the Maud and the Silas. So we'll have to try and make sure they can get through the early game to be able to pick up some magic resist at some point during the build. But aside from that, pretty hard scaling by QUT, looking to play around the bot side with a bit of a weak mid champion. I'm not sure how that'll work out. Hopefully they'll be able to control the Silas, make sure he can't be roaming to the bot plays. And meanwhile, we've just got a bunch of strong champions, strongest side laning, I would say, from the Weekend Warriors, and the jungler, which can try and make plays happen in the mid to late game.
Most definitely. I think the Kayle pick is definitely probably the most obscure pick in that comp. Obviously, they don't want to lose too much in the early game They don't lose too much in the late game when they pick a champion like Lucian, and they're going to be focusing around that with the Fiddle. Fiddle still provides stuff into late game, but it's great to have a scaling champ that can kind of replace that Lucian if the game does go for a little bit too long. I imagine that's part of what their thought process was here. That being said, I've noticed Kayle seems to have shot up a lot recently in win rate. I couldn't tell you why, but I have seen a lot of Kales popping off lately, and I've got my fingers crossed we see one here because it'll be a very interesting game to watch. With that being said, though, we are going to have to wait for a couple of minutes before we can get into the game here, so we'll jump to an intermission screen, and we'll be back with you guys very shortly.
All right.
Oh, I never thought I'd feel this way. I never thought I'd find a place that feels like home. Feels like home. Oh, the nights I see will stay. All I feel is love. It feels like home. Take me to a new dimension. Take me to a new dimension.
Oh, darling, if I had bought you flowers, would you still be here by my side? Yeah, I thought this moment could be ours while I'm
Okay, and we're straight into game here. We can see a 4-stack in the mid lane coming out of Weekend Warriors side over here. Silas also looking to be, I believe that's inside the Baron pit just there, jumping over the wall. They might look for a pick here, actually. And they've missed that, unfortunately.
That'll probably be the end of that. So I want to talk a little bit more about the Kayle mid. It's definitely, I would say not optimal this game. It must be one of Chirp's comfort picks. Fiddlestick's notoriously easy to invade early. I believe the Mordekaiser will have the early prio, as well as the all three will have the early prio. He might get invaded early, which is what we've got to look out for, especially with no priority from the Kayle mid. And the plays happening towards the bot side, they've got to find somewhere to cover them. So we'll have to see how that goes.
I will say, coming out from the side of Chirp, I believe I have seen him play a KO before. I've seen a Vel'Koz pick as well come out from him. I think they might be two of the comfort champs, so you may be correct on that call. I'm sure we'll see that more as we progress a bit further into the tournament.
I think into the Silas with the lethal tempo, Kale is deceptively strong. Once she gets the E and the Q, she gets the pen. Oh, looking through something in the ball lane, not much, a little bit of trading. But once she can actually stack up the tempo and she can win some all-ins, it's just not always, and it's pretty hard to do. But I think if he's good enough on it, it can be strong this game.
Yeah, and definitely, like we said, it looks like it's potentially one of those comfort picks. We see the level 2 coming in and looking for something there, maybe getting that little bit of Prio in the early. They do have a fiddle, so Prio might be a little bit low for them.
Yeah, it looks like it's going pretty well started. Both ball lanes hitting level 2. Yep, not much will come of that. Top matchup, just smacking each other. Oh, a lot of damage coming down.
It is a longer trade than I would have expected to see there. Bit unfortunate that they missed the Q on the Mordekaiser, but that's okay, and they'll just continue along with their day, as most top laners do. Oh, and maybe have a little bit more time.
Oh wow, both flashes coming out. Looks like Weekend Warriors top laner Jack. He'll be forced to recall. Nope, they're both staying.
We love to see a little bit of top gameplay and a little bit of engage on the mid here. Another fight coming in the top, and I'm not surprised. Like I said, bloodthirsty games last time, probably some more bloodthirsty games this time.
Yeah, Jack will be a bit sad knowing that his Wukong is on the bot side. Oh, gank coming out here. Flashes in by the Silas. The Wukong flashing in for the kill. Yep, he's got the red buff. He gets the kill. Easy does it. Kale will be able to TP back to the lane, so she won't miss too much for it. But that's 400 gold into the Wukong. A lot more trading happening in the bot lane. A lot of damage coming down from the Lucian Nami.
Missing the coming out from the top as well on the side of QUT this time.
Yeah, I feel like you might see the problem with Fiddlesticks here, but nope, he manages to pick up the kill just barely.
I'm sure they'll be happy to have that in their back pocket at least. And 4-man bot lane. Sorry, it's 3-man because of the Wukong there.
Exhaust coming out, a lot of damage coming back onto the Wukong. He manages to live just barely. Definitely would have been a bit of a disaster if he manages to die there.
Yeah, I mean, he gained a lot of tempo going in with that mid gank. He got the first blood. He definitely doesn't want to lose that straight away and kind of give any gold away that he doesn't need to. There's an interesting trade coming out from the bot. They did manage to blow 2 summoners for, I believe, for none. So they got the exhaust coming out of the Lucian, flash coming out of the Nami. That gives...
That's a pretty big mistake to make against the Lucian Nami. Oh, the flash coming out. Exhaust is still up though, so nothing will come out of it. And it's a good trade. I think they'll take that.
Yeah, so a reasonably big mistake there to be made, and they didn't make that mistake. Lucian picks up the kill. Sorry, Nami actually picked up the kill, so it's not as detrimental as it could have been.
Yeah, that's the electrocute for you.
That is the electrocute coming from the Nami. Maybe not the end of the world. They did manage to blow a summoner though, so they pick up the kill. They pick up a summoner, but also the flash coming out from Lucian, so maybe a little bit less aggressive coming out from him from this point onwards.
Yeah, well, the real problem with dying there is that, I mean, Karma makes it back to the wave and everything, but they're going to lose a lot of tempo for that. They're going to have to recall after they try and shove this wave in. They're probably not going to get it in. They might get frozen on, or they might just get pushed under their turret, and it's pretty depressing being pushed under your turret as real Karma. Yep, they're going to have to recall here, because they definitely can't push out the wave without dying by the time Lucian and the Nami get back.
Yeah, and it's good for them seeing that what they need to do. They know that they can't do that, and they're respecting it, which is great. They made that overstep against the Lucian Nami, but they definitely don't want to make any further mistakes. That like spiral out of control very fast. And they're respecting that, which is great.
Yeah, I think we'll look at the Fiddlesticks is unseen. He's power farming towards level 6. He's got the Predator, he's got the Sword Pen boots. We'll definitely be wanting to try and make a play once that hits. 3-man dive on the Kale. Looks like this will come pretty easily. No ulti left. Yep. The stolen Kale ulti. I was a bit confused for a second.
Yeah, there we go. I don't think Kale was actually 6 there. I imagine she would have used her ulti if she had it. Up for her.
Unfortunately, after she dies the first time, she doesn't get as much XP. The kill XP as well as maybe losing a couple minions means The Silas does hit level 6 first. Oh, another play coming out here onto the Nami. Wukong goes forward as well as the Silas E connects. Just dead very easily. Oh, the 1v1 in the Mordekaiser ulti. Ornn just trying to run away here. Looks like nothing will come out of it again. A little bit of hitting each other.
And on Weekend Warriors side here, we can see that they've picked up 3 kills on the Wukong. They're using that lead and the priority they have right now to grab the dragon. I'd say that this is probably exactly where they expected this game to go. I'm not sure if they plan to have all 3 kills on the Wukong, but the tempo that they've gained from it is going to be quite important for them. Coming out here, I think the bot lane might be the only thing they have to worry about at this point, but we knew they were most likely going to play weak side bot against the Nami Lucian.
Yeah, I feel like QUT with the Lucian Army, they've got their gold, you know, in the bot lane. I think they're pretty happy with how this is going, especially with the Kayle, Ornn, and the Fiddlesticks picks. All late game champions, really. Fiddlesticks more of a mid game champion, but he can have his moments in late game. A lot of damage. Meanwhile, the Wukong, which I pointed at as a first pick, I mean, he's got his 3 kills. He'll be able to get more defensive options, especially with the Maw being a really strong item at the moment. So once he gets that, he will be pretty tanky versus the Fiddlesticks and the Kayle. That's what I expect that he'll lean towards. But yeah, we'll have to see how that pans out.
Most definitely. I think it's for the time being, 7 minutes, 8 minutes into the game, it's definitely where he wants to be. Whether or not he can carry that through into the late game against this kind of team fighting scaling comp coming out from QUT. But that being said, he does have high value ulti. He can head in with the Silas, stealing pretty much any of QUT's ultis. They've got a good combo there as well. I would say maybe not as strong in the team fighting side, but not falling behind by too much. So it'll be interesting to see how they use those abilities.
Yeah, I mean, with the Wukong being ahead enough, they take a pretty much free Herald. Looks like Ezreal's going to be shoved off the wave. He's losing a lot of gold here. I don't think he's very happy with how this is going. I think I'd definitely much rather be QUT in this position, trading the Herald for about 2 plates, about 3 waves.
Exactly right. There's 3 waves. Lucian's currently 29 CS up on the Ezreal, which is no small feat. There we go. We've hit the 30 ahead now. He might not be ahead in kills, but he's definitely where he wants to be in the lane. And it's just a matter of, at this point, whether or not Weekend Warriors can get everything else on the map to kind of compensate for it, or if the solution is just going to become too much of a problem to deal with.
Yeah, well, as you can see, the Wukong being much stronger than the Fiddlesticks at this point. Of the Fiddlesticks in the bot side of the jungle, he's not really able to do too much. The Wukong taking his whole top side. But definitely, with the Lucian may not be any kills up, but he's almost 2 levels up on the Ezreal. Being level 7, same level as top lane, a lot of damage coming down onto the Ornn. Still nothing will come of it.
Yeah, no, we can see Weekend Warriors just getting whatever else they can on the map. We know Lucian's going to have that advantage in the bot lane. I don't think there's much they can do to really stop that. But they are looking to make plays everywhere else. Top lane is going well for the side of Weekend Warriors for the time being. Ornn, of course, going to be a lot more useful in those team fights later on. And then same thing, more so going with the late game, the Kayle scaling. And she's also up 20 CS. She might be down 2 kills, but she's ahead in CS. So she's got that gold in her.
Oh, dive coming out. Choked a little bit, but it manages to live on 1 HP. That would have been a little bit rough if he gave his shutdown.
Definitely wouldn't have been a worth trade, especially if after blowing the summoner spell as well. 1 for 1 there with the shutdown wouldn't have been worth it, but got away with the skin in their teeth.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the Ornn versus Mordekaiser matchup. Obviously, Mord beats in tanks. You know, he steals their stats. They don't do any damage to him. He just out-sustains them. But the Ornn especially, as well as some other tanks, say Sion, they have unstoppable abilities, which means they can cancel the Mordekaiser ulti if the player is good enough, if they can time it well enough, if they anticipate the Mord ulti coming out. And that's something that the Mordekaiser might have to think about coming into the later parts of the game.
Yeah, so it definitely seems like he's gotten the last couple off, which have worked in his favor. But if the Ornn manages to use the ability at the right time in a kind of a crucial moment, cancels that ulti, stops him from stealing any of the stats, and allows the Ornn to kind of contribute to maybe a team fight, that could really turn things around as well. So the matchup's not looking great for the Ornn at the moment, but happening here as well.
Mord has no ulti to try and play around this. Kayle looks like might look for something here. You can see the entirety of Weekend Warriors running up the river. Oh no, there's a lot of damage coming out. The Physics ulti coming from the Silas. Kale ulti going invulnerable, looking to pick up the Mordekaiser. Manages to pick up the Mordekaiser. Ignite coming down. Looks like Karma will finish her off. I think they'll be reasonably happy with how that went.
Yeah, look, it wasn't terrible. It was definitely an overstay at the start, a little bit of an overextension there, trying to look for the kill, but they do manage to pick up a 1 for 2 at the very least, so they didn't completely throw everything away. The Kale's gonna definitely want that gold in her pocket too, which is great for her. But Wukong now 5-0, and that, like I said, it was a theme that we saw with the last week. It looks like it might carry through this week. Wukong, although maybe a little bit squishy and not as good as some of the other champs in the later game, if he just gets that early lead, it's a huge problem.
Yeah, I mean, this just comes from Weekend Warriors having much superior vision, especially in this topside river. We went back, we'd see that there's a lot of damage coming down onto the Wukong. He manages to die. Nami picks it up. Unfortunately, 800 gold into her pocket. Yeah, that's how squishy he can be sometimes without these bruiser items being picked up yet.
It looks like QT may attempt to pick up their first dragon of the game, equal that one out to 1 dragon each.
I don't think Silas wants to go. Oh, the Mordekaiser's coming up, but the Kale does a lot of damage here. Oh, looks like we're gonna see maybe a dive coming out. Mordekaiser bring out the ulti. No flash on the Kale means she will probably just go down here. Just narrowly dodges the tower shot. I think the Triumph would have made him live anyway, but pretty well executed by Weekend Warriors. Managed to pick up the Kale. She loses a fairly large amount of XP and gold off of that death.
Definitely not what the KO wanted there, not what Chirp wanted from the side of QT. That being said, he did play it quite well given the circumstances he was put in.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
He's behind quite a lot at this point, 1-4, although he's still got a fair amount of CS. He's definitely not in the position he wants to be in, but I am excited to see what he can pull off later in the game when he hits those crucial power spikes on the KO.
Yeah, a lot of magic resist coming down on the Weekend Warriors side. Obviously, the Kale and the Fiddlesticks warranting a fair bit of magic resist. See the Merc Treads on the Mordekaiser and the Wukong. But Lucian able to pick up the Collector. That's what he's building towards. There's no armor on the enemy team, so that'll be pretty free.
I think we did briefly have this conversation. Oh, hang on.
Looking towards the Fiddlesticks, double fear coming down on the bot lane and just instantly dead. This is what I was saying earlier in draft. There's just so much damage against the squishy bot lane of Weekend Warriors.
Yeah, picking up the second kill onto the Karma, and Ezreal's been lucky to not drop any deaths here, but he has lost a lot of the CS with the priority that they lost in the bot lane and kind of aggression coming out from the side of QT. So yeah, bot lane falling behind like we kind of predicted there. The big question is, though, how long will this Lucian stay online? He hasn't gotten an immense lead, and we do know that Lucian can, in some cases, start to fall off a little bit. No armor coming out, so it's not too big a deal just yet, especially with the Collector.
I think he's going to remain strong for a fairly long time. He doesn't have any kills yet, but he has a lot of XP. He's about to ding 10. And no armor, obviously. And he's up a fair bit of CS to everyone else in the game, at least 20. Well, the Ornn ulti coming out, just finishing off the Nami there, pretty free kill. The culling just for a little bit of suppressing fire.
Perfect. A little bit of potentially a overextension yet again coming out from QT. They pick up the kill on the support. That being said, very well coordinated coming in here from Weekend Warriors, and yet again as well with that kill just there. They're playing together, which is obviously what you want to see in a game like this.
Yeah, all of the gold's still in the Wukong. I don't think QT would be too unhappy with that. But it's not too bad. Not too worried about it. It's only 3k or 2.5k down at the moment with the superior scaling, so they're not too sad. Definitely comebackable.
Comebackable, I love that. Yeah, so the gap isn't too crazy. The gold on the side of Weekend Warriors is entirely in one champion, whereas I'd say most likely every other lane on the side of QT is probably just about even, if not ahead. Obviously, the Lucian would be ahead. The KO might even be ahead in gold when it comes to CS. Obviously, Silas picking up more assists, though. I'd say for the most part around the board, it is probably pretty even, except for, of course, that Wukong on the side of Weekend Warriors and then the Lucian on the side of QT.
I think Kale at the moment, as a bit of a Kale player myself, occasionally, pretty happy where she is at the moment. Level 11. She's just got to watch out for the Wukong, and she can win these side lanes pretty handedly. Bit of commotion in the bot lane. Looks like no team's gonna go for a play quite yet.
And it did look like coming out from this Wukong that he knew his goal was, for the most part, to shut down this KO in the early game. Obviously, the KO is, I would say, probably the scariest of the 5 champions, in my opinion at least. Definitely has the potential to really just change a team fight, especially when the game goes into late. Like you said, she's sitting pretty comfortably right now. And they definitely identified that. It looked like that was Nox's job to kind of shut her down in the early. I wonder if he's done a good enough job there because, as we said, Kale's kind of sitting pretty comfortably at the moment.
Yeah, Kale is a champion, especially against these really long-range champions. I mean, not too recently, maybe a little bit ago, she got the extra range on the level 16. Against all these melee champions, that they really don't get too tanky as the game goes on. She'll really be able to just melt through them, even in the side lane, 1v2s or a bound. But just see if we can get to that moment. It'd be really exciting to see.
Alright, looks like they're going to be playing for the Infernal Drake here. We can see QT looking to set up. Weekend Warriors dropping down the Herald to try and get a little bit of prio in the mid lane, it would seem.
Yeah, without their Mordekaiser, they're going to find it pretty hard to face check into the Fiddlesticks. I don't think anyone's going to try and do that. Probably just be... They'll be trading the mid turret for it, I would imagine.
I do see Silas looking like he's going for something, but maybe not.
Yep, QT taking that. Oh, the flash comes out from the Wukong. The Silas taking the Fiddlesticks ulti. A lot of damage coming out. The one TP's in just to die. Looks like he'll go down rather slowly. Yep, the Kale fails the ulti. Looks like she might be able to pick up the plant if she comes out. No.
No, and that's a 4 for nothing on the side of Weekend Warriors. They'll definitely be happy with that one. They'll definitely give the Dragon for that. They're going to grab an inhib here at the very least. Potentially back away now, it would seem. And maybe go and spend some of that gold they just picked up.
Yeah, no, I mean, at this point, they've gotten ahead enough where they can just walk with the enemy team. They don't really have any proper CC. Outside of like a Fiddlestick Sphere, which I'm not sure you're really happy about. Nami CC, notoriously unreliable. Yeah, just the Silas and the Wukong able to just jump in with the Fiddlesticks ulti as well in the Silas. A lot of damage going down onto the Lucian. He wasn't really able to play that fight out. And just, yeah, like when you get to this point with all these squishy champions, I mean, Ornn had to be in the side lane against the Mordekaiser, trying not to give that away freely. Then you get in that type of fight.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate coming out from the KO too. She did fail her flash, had to use her ulti to try and save herself, but couldn't get the blast turn off, so she fell as well. I have been looking for a fight to use our amazing replay feature, but the fights have been going for quite a while. They kind of just keep going back and forth, and I'm unable to clip anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming down onto the Mordekaiser. Pops the W. You might just be able to live. The KO getting mood speed from the passive, but that's a lot of damage coming out from the E. Wow.
And that's what we're talking about with the KO sitting comfortably. No one in the side lanes can really deal with her except for probably that Wukong, like we said, and she's just showing that off there.
Yeah, when she gets to this point, I know I put it out in the draft that they're going to be trying to make plays towards the bot lane, but if this KO can get strong enough to justify that, yeah, it's really good into the 2 melee champions. Oh wow, a lot of damage from that as well.
Yeah, definitely coming down the mid lane, clearing out most of the wave, and chunking 3 of them, which is not ideal.
Weekend Warriors might be looking for the Baron as it spawns. They're all around the area. They've swept out the vision. Yep, it looks like they're going to start it right as it comes up. Kale's still in the bot lane, has TP. We'll see if she tries to take the turret and then look for that, or she just keeps pushing. It's C Weekend Warriors hitting the Baron. Looks like they might just walk out. Yep, trying to look for an engage. Don't think they're going to find that. Oh, they managed to pick it up on the Fiddlesticks as they're coming over the wall. Nami and Fiddlesticks. Just a bit too far forward there.
Yeah, definitely a little bit too far forward. They got caught out, or at least the Nami got caught out there. Fiddlesticks also falling. Kale's still pushing out the bot lane, but I don't know if it's necessarily very ideal. It looks like she's going to die with power here.
The ulti coming out. I think she's going to manage to trade 1-for-1. Nope, she lives it. That's pretty important here. She might be able to trade the in-hit. Nope, she's just going to recall. The TP from the Silas coming out. We'll be able to pick up the Kale, I think. Yep, looks like she
got the execute. There we go. Awesome. And just while we're looking at the resets here, I am going to quickly jump over to a replay. And we can have a quick look. Alright. Sorry. I'd say Weekend Warriors probably sitting pretty comfortably at this point.
Yeah, they're very happy with where they're at the moment. 9-1 Wukong, getting the Mortius, what I was saying before. Really big power spike for him. Gets Death Stance first. Works against Magic Resist, or works against Magic Damage now. Yeah, I think he'll be pretty happy.
When are teams going to start banning out this Wukong? That's what I want to know. 4 games, and 4 games we've seen it be an absolutely insane pick, and it's just completely controlled the tempo of this game. When are they going to learn?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think if there was a game to leave Wukong open, this is definitely the one. You have the AP threats with the Fiddlesticks and the Kale, but it just seems to have not mattered.
Yeah, and that's definitely the thing. I'm not some kind of Wukong. What's the word here? I mean, look, exactly right. I'm not a Wukong connoisseur in the sense. I don't necessarily think he is the greatest champion in the world, but he has had a lot of success.
Unfortunate timing on the Wukong Blast Cone just as Fiddlesticks goes over the wall to kill his bot lane. He's in the base. Oh, another Fiddlesticks ulti coming out from the Silas. Another double kill. Seems like this champion might be a bit broken with the ulti.
And that was something that we did speak about as well in the champ select. So many ultis for the Silas to pick up. And he does pick up that Fiddlesticks ulti, make a play in return there, which is great for the side of Weekend Warriors, making an exchange.
Yeah. 2 for 2. They managed to pick up a couple trade kills off of that, and they obviously get the dragon. Doesn't seem like there'll be a dragon soul, at least for a very long time. So we won't have to worry about any Elder Dragon comebacks. I think Weekend Warriors will be happy with that.
Now look, if this game goes for long enough, QUT are definitely still in it. I would say that on the side of Weekend Warriors, they're going to probably want to close this one out as soon as possible. What do you think their game plan is going to be in the next couple of minutes, and what are they going to look for?
Yeah, well, if you just look here, you can see exactly what QT is looking for. The Flash isn't able to get out of his own ulti, so he can't dodge the Kale ulti. That's the counter right there. Both managing to fail flashes so far in this game in the Mordekaiser ulti.
And we can see level 15 coming through for the Kale as well, so not too far away from hitting that level 16, and that's where she's going to become a real threat. Really
close to the spike. The only thing she needs really at this point, she probably wants the Rabadon. I imagine she'll be building towards that now, maybe avoid stuff. Fiddlesticks ulti coming out, instantly killing the Karma. Oh, 2 sides of the fight happening. The Wukong looks like he might go down here. Not enough damage, close enough. The Kale ulti coming down from the Silas. A lot of damage coming out, and yeah. The Lucian and the Kale aren't there for the fight, and there's just not enough damage after the Karma comes down from the Fiddlesticks ulti.
Alright, we had 2 fights there, and there was a lot going on. I did miss half of that myself. Looks like they're just going to be sieging the base here. I don't know if QT is going to be able to stop them.
Well, a lot of damage coming down. The Wukong going in, doesn't have the ulti. I think he might be able to be cleaned up here from the Lucian. Yep, a lot of damage coming down. Lucian doesn't have the ulti, no sums, but it seems like Weekend Warriors will just be walking off here. They'll take the inhib and they'll walk back with their tail between their legs. Seems
Definitely
like
interesting.
Ezreal's playing for the end of game damage charts. Oh,
I'm not too sure that TP was coming from the KO. Obviously, she was looking to try and stop them from resetting and maybe clean up a couple of kills, but it's a little bit overambitious.
Yeah, a little bit interesting. There was no Ornn ulti. There wasn't anything there trying to help her there. Bit of a miscalculation there.
I do want to say, coming out from the side of Weekend Warriors, Jason Ultra won with his Silas pick, looking to be quite an important factor in these last couple of team fights. He's using his ult, I'd say almost flawlessly, picking up the Fiddlesticks ulti to clean up some kills, picking up the KO ulti to save his teammates and allow them to win the fight. Definitely shone in the last couple of fights, and that's helped out a lot as well.
Yeah, it just looked really strong. Obviously, it's kind of an even matchup to start with versus the Kale, but the Wukong getting really strong. You know, the two melee boys just walking together, killing everything, just really working well off of each other.
Definitely couldn't have been a better game to pick the Silas into with all these ultis.
Alright, the Baron coming up about 15 seconds. I think Lucian having the recall. QT not really able to walk into the pit. I reckon they'll just take it on spawn from the Weekend Warriors.
And that's what I'm expecting here. I mean, QT also probably don't want to give it up, so we may see something come out from the side of them, but I think Weekend Warriors have this one pretty secured.
Yeah, well, Kale's in the bot side with no TP as Baron's coming up. There's vision all around the pits. The Field Sticks isn't going to be able to find an ulti. I don't think it's really contestable, especially when Lucian really just isn't strong enough to be able to melt through this front line.
Yeah, and that was the thing on the side of Lucian. We spoke about how he got ahead in the lane. He kind of got what he wanted out of the bot lane, but he didn't get ahead enough. Definitely quite a strong kick, but when you've got the insanely strong Wukong and then you've got the Silas scaling up as well, it's quite a dangerous game for him to be playing.
Yeah, well, we've got to give a bit of a good job to the Weekend Warriors bot side. You know, they didn't die to the Nami and the Lucian, aside from the one death to the Nami, but it didn't snowball into anything. But restricting the kills is definitely important, and that's why they drafted the Ezreal and the Karma, something that's able to still CS from range. They went down a bit of CS, but they've managed to pick it up in the mid game where Ezreal really shines, and that's just been able to be played off with the Silas and the Wukong, a little bit engaged, just a little bit of poke, a bit of follow up. Kale hitting 16 here.
Okay, very close one there, but managed to get out with his life, which is always good.
Now the problem with the Kale is she's still going to get CC'd by the Wukong and the Silas, and she's still going to die pretty quickly. The ulti isn't going to buy her enough time to be able to melt through the front line. So she's going to need a bit of team support this game.
Yeah, in the last couple of fights, we've seen her come in from the sidelines. Very interesting TP coming out from her as well, and I'm just not too sure on what we can expect here. She definitely has the potential to do a lot, but we haven't seen it come through since probably mid-game. About 10 minutes ago was the last time we maybe saw her pop off a little bit.
Yeah, I think QT will try to give this inhib. Baron, maybe about a minute left on that. But they really got to protect the top lane inhib. If you notice, there isn't the waves. They won't be able to take that. I don't think Weekend Warriors will be able to end here. Not with the Kale damage on the minions.
Definitely.
Bit of damage coming out. Should be able to walk back to base though, right next to their fountain. No neutral objectives either up at the moment. How long have we got until Dragon? We got 4 minutes until Dragon.
And about 4 minutes for Baron as well. So same on both ends there. Nothing really on the map to play for except for maybe these top towers on the side of Weekend Warriors if they want to look to grab those as well.
Yeah, this is one of Kale's, actually one of her strongest parts of her kit is just the wave clear. Most mages, they kind of, you think like Ziggs or something, they have wave clear, but once you get the Baron minions, you can't really melt through it. A lot of damage coming down onto the Mordekaiser. It doesn't look like anything will come. With the Ornn ulti coming in, Lucian dashing in, separated from the Nami, not too much damage coming down. Alright, and yep, the Lucian goes down to the Mord. Yep, a lot of damage going on to the Nami. Yeah. About what we expect. Too much CC going down onto the Kale. She can't kill everyone. And Ornn will slowly die at the end of the fight.
And that looks like it's going to be a victory for the side of Weekend Warriors coming out here. Very well played game from, I'd say from both sides, playing to their strengths and their weaknesses. It didn't go as well as GT probably wanted it to in the early game, having picked that Lucian, having picked that Nami and the Fiddlesticks as well. And so despite that their late game champions like their Ornn and their Kale, they just weren't able to kind of get where they wanted to, and they weren't able to execute that win condition as well as I'm sure they wanted to.
Yeah, that's about right.
Alright, we will be moving off from that and into an intermission, and then we'll be back with you guys to maybe go through a little bit more about this game. But next up we have, give me 2 seconds here while I find out for you. So coming up tonight after this game will be... Sorry guys. Okay, next up we have Valkyrie Ragnarok versus Alliance Chancho, or Choncho, I'm not too sure exactly on how to say that one. Hopefully I'm not butchering that one completely, because Alliance are actually good friends of ours. They have helped out a little bit with putting this tournament together as well, so a nice little shout out to them there. That being said, Valkyrie, they won, as an org, they won both of their games last week, so I'm sure they're a force to be reckoned with. It'll be very interesting to see that matchup. And then moving into game 3 tonight, it'll be MCOM Esports versus Vespertine Vertigo. So a little bit of a rivalry coming in there that I will speak about a little bit later. I don't want to let anything out right now, but will be a very interesting one to see nonetheless. Anyways, we'll be back shortly.
Now you're out of time.
Feel free, and I just wanna be me. Yeah, I just wanna go so crazy. Yeah, I just wanna be a freak. Yeah, I just wanna rise to the top. Yeah, I just wanna go reach the peak. So I've been really well focused on success. Hey, y'all will see. Yeah, you won't see that I will get it. Cause I'm really focused, man. I make it with the rap and I just follow my path. I just follow my passion. To me, this is what's precious. Yeah, in my soul, man, I can feel it. So every single verse, man, I just gotta go and kill it, man. I gotta be the kid. I could be the guy taking you out. I could be the villain. That is okay. Lately I'm painting my path on my way. Yeah, I got no time that I can waste. So I've been sitting in the space. Yeah, making rest every day. Man, you know that I go insane. Yeah, I hit you with a bullet to the brain. Let us stop first cause we going insane. You don't know what I'm gonna do. You don't know what is next. And I'm loving the fact, truly it's making me blessed. Cause I work on my team, no snakes in the grass. And we have been trusting the wind because of the work that we did in the past. Because of the work that we did in the past. Man, we went to hours, we barely got rest. So I get the realm and we didn't finesse. So I got the feelings that we might be next. Cause when we go in, we win in the match. Yeah. When we go in, we win in the match. So that's how we do, cause we be the best. We be the best, best. Yeah, we be the best. Whoa. Yeah, we be the best, best. We be the best. Hey, yeah, we be the best, best. Hey, we be the best. Yo, you wanna come a test? Whoa, you want to see we the best? Hey, you don't see that we're the best kid, so I suggest you never really come and test it. But otherwise, I will smack your face like Michael Jordan does with a ball in the basket. Oh damn kid, but you didn't expect it. You never really thought that this could just happen. But now really come on and we pull out with the action. Cause people defeat those they don't get it like.
Broken glass while I'm thinking in my head. I mind my own, I don't even break a sweat. Oh, this madness is insane. Why you still live in vain? I'm not the one, you're the victim of your own mistakes. It's sad to hear the lights under the street lights, under the street untold stories, they were left behind. Silent breeze, I got nothing on my mind. This madness is insane. Why you still live in vain? I'm not the one, you're the victim of your own mistakes. It's time to hear the lights under the street lights, under the street lights. I'm not the one, you're the victim of your own mistakes. You're the victim of your own mistakes.
but you long gone, it don't matter. Ride or die, that's been the deal. The light of your back, I disappear. But if you don't play that for me, I'm out of it, I'm out of it. I lick my gun and then I'm done. I'm out of it, I'm out of it. And hold me, tell me you're no good. I'm brushing the weight of you, the weight of you, of my shoulders. Done with my cigarette, and when all the smoke is clear, I'm brushing the weight of you, the weight of you, the weight of you. Don't need a no man.
Okay, hello, and we are back. We're looking to get into game 2 very shortly, which will be Valkyrie, Ragnarok, and Alliance Chancho against each other. Blue side being Valkyrie. So what I know from last week is that Valkyrie won their game, Alliance did not. So based off that alone, we can probably favor Valkyrie just a little bit here. But as I did mention, we are somewhat closely related to Alliance over here as well. So I've got a soft place in my heart for them. What's your take looking at the players here and everything like that?
Well, just based on the ranks, this is a little bit lower of a ranked one compared to last one. Last game was more like towards D1, Master Tier, GM, that kind of rank. Especially we're not too far into the season, so that's quite impressive. But this one's more of like a around Diamond, maybe a little bit of Master, a little bit of Platinum. So I'm expecting to see a lot more kills early game. I'm expecting to see a lot more action, I would say. Maybe some more solo kills, more solo kill oriented champions. Nothing like the Ornn or the Mordekaiser from last game. Something that snowballs a little bit harder. Maybe some more assassins in the mid lane. Kind of like what I was expecting last game.
I do have a question for you. This one's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Will we see Wukong?
I want to say no. And the reason I want to say no is because I don't like Wukong.
Okay. Yep. Fully
But,
understand.
I think more than likely we will see a Wukong, or it'll be banned. What I'm more excited to ask you, Draz, will we see Zoe?
Is that based off the name that I have in front of me just here, or is there something else that I'm missing?
No, just a general question. I just wonder if you think either of these mid laners might give the Zoe and just like whip it out.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't had a lot of time to look at their OP.GGs, unfortunately. I'm going to say no.
You don't think we're going to see... Okay.
Now, I don't know if they have any Zoe players. I do know one of the players is named Zoe.
Yeah.
But based off that, I'm still going to say no. I personally find it very hard to play with a Zoe in team play. I know she can be played a lot. I know Fake has been playing it at Worlds. I know, I'm sure... at MSI. I'm sure others have been as well. But with that being said, I just don't like Zoe. I think it's very hard to play with her. She doesn't provide as much to team fights as most other mid laners do. I'm hoping we don't see a Zoe because I find it a little bit boring to watch in comparison to some other champions. But that's my take on that.
Well, I'm definitely expecting it to be banned. But if it is picked, one of the strongest things into it is just the in-your-face assassins. They look for the solo kills on the Zoe. Obviously, she doesn't really have too many defensive abilities. The Sleepy Trouble bubble, very slow to activate. But if you can get ahead on the Zoe, start throwing the balls. Was it bubble? No. Yeah, bubbles. You throw the bubbles through the wall, get a couple more free kills, snowball the lead. It's kind of what you can expect from the pick.
Yeah, look, definitely Zoe is a strong champion, and I won't discredit that. We can definitely see that at an MSI with Faker, like I just mentioned. He wouldn't be playing it if it was terrible. I really don't like the champion. I think for team play, like I said, I'd rather something that provides maybe a little bit more, almost reliability in a sense, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's maybe the wrong word to use, but I just find she can be a little bit hit or miss. And I definitely really like consistent champions myself. With that being said, we're jumping straight into Champ Select here. Let's transition straight into that one. No break for that, as we have just jumped straight in here. And we see the Zoe band come out straight away. No surprises there.
Very unexpected, I would say. Kind of interesting. They have Kai's OC seems to be a mid lane player. Seems like he's flexing support. Had a bit of success on Clash, I can see. Maybe a little bit of fun with that. Would look to see how that goes.
Yeah, so with Kais over here, I believe the name is pronounced Kais. But with Kais over here, he, from my knowledge, is actually one of the managers for Valkyrie. I know he plays with the sub, I believe, so I don't think he's a primary player. He has gone and is subbed into what looks to be the support position here. Be interesting to see how he fits in with the team.
Are we going to see a Wukong ban? That would be the most logical next ban.
I'm kind of hoping I see the Wukong ban, but...
drum roll. Ari ban.
And Ari.
So we got one more opportunity.
We do still have it, and the Lulu. Lulu's a pretty respectable ban. I like having a Lulu on my team. I don't like facing it.
Yeah, I mean, we can expect that they're trying to avoid one of these hyper carry combos like the Jinx or the Vayne. Really hard to stop once they get going. Maybe they're trying to play one of the more range champions, the Ezreals, the Jins, something like that can really get run down by a Lulu.
And there's the Wukong ban. It comes through. It finally comes through. First game on stream that it won't be played. It still does have a 100% pick ban rate though. So it'll be interesting to see if that continues.
Interesting if they're going to look to first pick the Gwen. Generally a really strong counter pick. It does have the opportunity to flex between the jungle and the top lane. Definitely chops apart some of the tankier champions in the top lane. Interesting to see what they expect it to be, if the jungle or top lane.
Will be very interesting. I know she has fallen off just a little bit in the jungle. I personally really enjoyed playing her jungle, and it just doesn't feel the same as it did a few patches ago. Still can be played though, especially if they know what they're doing. The Alawi first pick coming out tells me they probably expect this Gwen to be top.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much expected as to where it'll be. I have no idea how this matchup goes. I don't think many people have played this matchup very often. Alawi is not a very common champion.
No, definitely not. And the Soraka coming out there as well. Soraka, pretty decent champ in all sorts of comps. Can't really complain with it. Decent champ to blind pick. Interesting to see what they counter it with.
Yeah, it's kind of like a substitute for the Lulu. A little bit less aggressive once it comes to like running you down, but it can do a lot more in the lane, in my opinion. You hit the Qs, you heal up, it just feels really unfair. ADC goes from half HP to full HP off of one Q. Like, what can I do?
Okay, pick side coming out from Valkyrie. We see the Hecarim. May actually be, I could be wrong in saying this, I think it's the first time we've seen the Hecarim pick come out in this tournament. Hecarim, one of those really strong.
I don't want to pick too much dive. This is not looking like something I would want to play into Alawi. Alawi is one of the champions, gets outranged really easily. Some of these more mobile champions like GP, Akshan, something like this has a bit of range and able to dodge the E, just really destroys the Alawi, especially in the 1v1, where Alawi is definitely not the strongest getting ganked. What will we look to see banned? We got the Seraphine and the Soraka. Could be bot lane. Seraphine could be mid as well.
Would be an interesting bot lane. I'm expecting it to go mid, but I mean, anything could happen at this point.
Yeah, I think it will be just based on the Akali ban. It will probably be going towards the mid lane, trying to get rid of some of that threat on top of her. Obviously, the Akali going really well with the rest of the dive champions.
Okay, interesting ban coming in from the Vi there. Not a champ that you see banned very often. What's your take on that?
Yeah, well, this one pretty much has to be a comfort pick. It doesn't really work well with the champions they've drafted at the moment, the Seraphine and the Soraka. I think they'll try to ban a carry here, something really strong that can really benefit off of the Seraphine and the Soraka. Something like Vayne, Cog, one of these hyper carry ADCs, Jinx. That's what I'm expecting here.
And
maybe even carry jungles.
being an ADC player yourself, what's your take on Kai'Sa? Because I know she's had a lot of success lately in general she's gone through a lot of success in general. She went through the AP build, which has been nerfed now. She's overall quite a strong, specifically team fighting champ. She kind of has a lot of utility, whether it comes to her ulti or just her overall damage. What's your opinion on the state that she's in right now, and particularly picking into the champs that she's going to be playing against here?
I think she is a particularly weak champion, and I am not sure why she has such high priority, especially against these kind of champions here, of the Seraphine and the Soraka. She's just too short range to be able to do anything against them. Obviously, she has the dive with the team, go off the Hecarim. Really strong lane with the Nautilus as well, so that's nothing to be too sad about. And it does have the utility of being able to get out of the Jarvan ulti. I know once you play the immobile AD carries, it's really depressing when you get Jarvan ulted and, you know, Seraphine ulted, whatever. You don't have flash and you just die. So it does have some power this game. I think it's definitely one of the better games to pick Kai'Sa so far, just because you have the Nautilus and you have the Jarvan picked on the enemy team. But something with a bit more range would probably be better into the Alawi. We got the Rumble mid, I expect.
I would assume so.
Yeah, it's really good into immobile champions. I think they're also trying to deny it from the Jarvan Rumble, chuck them in the oven. Not something you wanna be facing too much. But it's really good into the Seraphine and Soraka, just because they don't have any mobility. The healing doesn't do too much against the Rumble ulti, and there's the Vayne. That's the hyper carry I was talking about.
Definitely, we're expecting to see some kind of hyper carry there. They have a lot of utility in every sense. They have a tanky bruiser in the top lane. They have a nice engage coming out from the jungle. A lot of utility and engage as well coming from the mid lane. It's good to see that hyper carry come out. And Kai'Sa, Vayne. I think Vayne probably has a little bit more potential to hyper carry. But we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I think... Well, they're going to need to try and play towards the Vayne. I think leave the Alawi on an island. She can do her thing, you know, get the good trades in. Not sure how the Gwen versus Alawi matchup goes. Could go either way. But playing towards the Vayne and the Soraka, you get the Soraka ahead, and she can help the other lanes with the ulti. I think that can be something really strong against the dive comps. Especially if you go for a dive and you don't expect the Soraka ulti. It can come in clutch very easily. But also shutting down the Kai'Sa and the Nautilus is really important to stop the follow-up onto the Vayne in the later parts of the game, so she doesn't get blown up too quickly.
Most definitely. Be a couple of things to look out for there. We are going to go to our intermission while we wait for our spectator delay. We'll be in the game shortly. Give us about 3 or so minutes. But yeah, just a couple of things to think about there. Definitely some more interesting team comps coming out too. Some different champs, which I'm excited to see. I actually don't think we've seen anything here except for Nautilus before. I could be wrong in saying that. But definitely Nautilus, quite a popular pick.
Pretty unique champs.
Yeah, for the most part, pretty unique. Definitely interested to watch this one. But we'll be back with you guys very shortly.
Try to paint me like a no-name, so sorry, but we're not the same. No, we're not the same. Boo-hoo, poor you, please forgive me, cause I don't feel any pity. I'm fed up with lies, you wanted my demise, now you're watching me rise, rise, rise. Up in the window, smaller and smaller, you fade out. Up, up, up in the window, yeah. You cannot get my vibe, no, there's no way. I'm flying high above all your gravity, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. You cannot get my vibe, no, there's no way. You can say what you want, call me insane, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. Watch me levitate. Hey, hey, watch me levitate.
Watch me levitate, watch me levitate, watch me levitate, watch me levitate, levitate. Watch me levitate, watch me levitate, watch me levitate, watch me levitate.
Watch me levitate. You cannot get my vibe, no, there's no way. I'm flying high above all your gravity, trying to bring me down, but I'll never stay. Hey, hey, watch me levitate. You cannot get my vibe, no, there's no way. You can say what you want, call me go, there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me. Now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly. Let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait. I can take the pain. I will surrender. Let me go on a new adventure. On a new adventure. On a new adventure.
Okay, and we're right into game here. As we can see, 5-man stack. They're on top of a ward, so they know they got spotted there as well. So probably not too much going to be happening in level 1. A little bit of a skirmish coming out already in the top, but nothing major. And I'm sure this will be a little bit of a slow start now that all that's out of the way.
Yeah, I think Doran Shield start on the Vayne, about the opposite of what I like to see. I think Doran Shield and range champions very weak. We'll see how it goes. I think this game is going to be centered a lot around the Alawi and making sure she doesn't fall behind in this matchup. I'm not sure how it goes. The Gwen does have the Ignite advantage, which means she can look for the kills. She can stop the Alawi healing, obviously what the Alawi is known for. But the blue team, Valkyrie Ragnarok, I believe, they have a lot of dive. And Alawi, she likes getting dove on.
A very interesting invade coming out there, but she gets away anyway.
Yeah. So maybe for a bit of harass.
Now, I do have a bit of a matchup question here for you, which I'm not too sure if you'll know the answer to, just due to the fact that we were discussing how it probably hasn't been seen before by a lot of people. In this top lane matchup here between these two, how do the Alawi tentacles work with the Gwen W if you do it yourself?
Well, it's going to work just like if the Alawi is in the circle, then the tentacles will hit her. But otherwise, it might just slam at her and just not do any damage or any healing.
Yeah, so I'm curious as to what will happen if tentacles themselves aren't inside the circle, but
They'll still hit her.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I think a lot of damage coming down to the Alawi. Not too much actually. I think she's pretty happy with this goes. Got the Doran start on the Gwen, looking for a bit more fighting. Tentacles going down, push early.
We do have the corrupting pot coming out from the Alawi though, so she is going to just heal up a lot of the damage that's dealt to her, so she's not too mad about that. Or
We got the
wanting to pop too many as well though.
Dark Harvest on the Seraphine, kind of looking for more of a bloodbath, is what I was saying at the start of the draft, a bit of a lower ranked game, so there might be a lot more kills happening. Generally, I would expect to see the Aerie, but I'm curious to see if that benefits her with the Dark Harvest, a bit more damage.
It'll be interesting. I personally find Dark Harvest is a very, again, we were talking about it earlier, inconsistent rune almost. I like to kind of know what my rune's going to do. I like to have, the same kind of feel every game, but the tempo of the game really matters when you take Dark Harvest.
Yeah, generally in professional play and more controlled environments, which is kind of what this is. Even though it is a little bit lower ranked, there's not going to be as many solo kills. These players, obviously, they don't want to cost their team the game, getting solo killed like 3 times. So the Dark Harvest definitely has a lot less value in this kind of situation. Yeah, we see the Jarvan trying to look for something mid, maybe.
No, it looks like he's just going to go straight for the scuttle.
Go for the skull. He's stepped on a ward, so they'll know where he is now.
He has.
All right.
I find it very interesting as well seeing the MSI tags next to everyone's name when we're in a bit of an environment like this. So that's just a thought that popped into my head.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have anything other than the OCE team on there, right?
Yeah, well, we've got RNG down in the bot lane, unfortunately. But it is what it is.
Get a cheer for the home crowd. Come on. Yeah, the Soraka doing a lot of bullying in the early game. Definitely carrying this lane, especially against two short range champions with the Kais from Nautilus. As long as she doesn't get hooked, she's going to be pretty happy in this lane.
Yeah, it's definitely something we talked about too. Wanting to just kind of sit back, hit those Qs, doing a lot more in lane than someone even like a Lulu might do. Mid lane, however, a lot of aggression coming out from the Rumble.
It looks like Jarvan's kind of anticipating a Hecarim gank here. They've spotted him out on the ward though, so it's likely nothing will come of it.
Yeah, very well placed deep ward there from the side of Valkyrie, and he's going to waste his time in the bot lane now, I can only imagine.
Yeah, playing against Soraka, every time a Q hits you, you just gotta just roll your eyes back of your head. Just feels so bad. You gain so much HP off of it. It's so high value.
I will say I'm quite glad I haven't seen a whole lot of Soraka recently. Not a fun champ to play against.
Yeah, pretty bad trade for the mid lane. It looks like Seraphine's going to try and find a recall timer. She might find one here. Hopefully she doesn't lose too much for that. Starting with the tier, obviously a lot less HP than the Dorans.
Now, I think this might be a record. Coming up to 6 minutes into the game, we haven't had a single death come through from either side. No kills on the board. This is what I expected coming into this tournament. This is what I expected coming into last week. A couple of high reload teams too. I may have just jinxed it. We may see something here, but unlikely.
This seems like a pretty free dive. The Jarvan is there to try and counter it, but Lobstick's ticking.
Exhaust comes out as well.
Yeah, that's just a bit of unlucky timing. The Seraphine just hit 6 as they go for the dive.
Yeah, a little bit of unlucky timing. Well played with the Summoner Spell Exhaust to save her life.
Hook coming out. Both exhausts coming out. Flash going forward. Managed to pick up the Vayne. Kill goes to Nautilus. Not the end of the world, but she's going to miss her wave for that, and I think Valkyrie's going to be pretty happy with how that went.
Definitely. 3 sums blown on both sides in the bot lane as well. So you've got the Flash Exhaust coming out from the Vayne, Flash Exhaust coming out from the Isa as well. Both in a similar position, but definitely Valkyrie going to be happy with that trade, and they should be able to get a little bit more out of the wave and everything like that too now, which would be ideal for them.
Yeah, interesting move by the Jarvan. I think he could have just sat in the bush and tried to see what happened. Looks like he's just gonna look for a recall here. Definitely needs his reset. Makes sense.
Yeah, he picked up the first blood. Definitely. There we go. He's picked up the Barmies, quite an important item. And there we go with a full inventory at 7 minutes. We love to see it.
Very interesting. I think the Gore Drinker would be much stronger this game, especially against all the melee champions, short range. Deciding to go more utility focused. I guess he wants to play more for his teammates, more for the Vayne. Can't say I'm the biggest fan of it though.
It's very interesting you point that out. As we mentioned, maybe a slightly lower elo game than the one that we'd just seen. Typically speaking, with the lower elo players, they kind of want to look to push their lead for themselves, less so than for their team. 3 men die, or not necessarily a dive, 3 men coming into the mid lane, and unfortunately Seraphine's just going to die, fall flat on her face. Rumble, I believe, picks that one up. And you can see quite a bit of a difference in the mid lane here. CS advantage, kill advantage, Rumble sitting quite happy at the moment.
Yeah, this Alawi was picked into the Gwen, so I'm kind of expecting a bit more out of this matchup. Maybe they knew something we didn't, but it doesn't seem to be that way. I think maybe it's just more of a comfort champion for him. Definitely the Alawi is pretty strong in this game. Have to get through the lane. First dragon going over to the Hecarim, to Valkyrie.
There we go, Valkyrie picks that one up. Not too surprised with the tempo that's been happening. They're 1.5k ahead already at 8 minutes in. Not a lot of kills happening on the board, but they've played the map reasonably well. Seems like they have a little bit of kind of good communication coming out on their side as well, which helps.
Yeah, looks like they might try and look for the dive here. Both level 6. The Soraka and the Vayne have also hit level 6, so there's a lot of counterplay. The Soraka trying to get blown up here. Ulti comes out. The Hecarim not taking the turret. Nautilus might die to the turret. Kai'Sa tanking now. A lot of damage coming down. Yep, and that is just a great dive. Well executed. Did the Nautilus get executed? No, I think Vayne managed to pick up one of the kills there.
Yep, so Vayne's picked up a kill for sure. Double kill out on the side of Kai'Sa though. Definitely in her favor.
And even worse, look at all these CS dying to the turret. The Vayne is the one that they really need to pop off this game. The Alawi, great pick, but it's not going to 1v9. It'll just be strong in the side lane. But yeah, that's a lot of CS, that's a lot of XP going down, that's a lot of gold going over to Kai'Sa.
And this is when you can really start to question that Barmy's pickup on the Jarvan. He's really their only one who you can say maybe can still make an impact on the bot lane here. But instead he's going for more utility.
Flash hook coming out from the rulers, and yeah, Seraphine, not a mobile champion. It's an enchanter. Dies straight away, gets one up.
Second time they pulled that one off. I wonder if she'll fall for it again. It's definitely put her behind quite a bit. Put the Rumble in the lead like we were speaking about. And I'm sure he's going to... He's more than likely going to just continue to roll off of Seraphine.
Yeah, Gwen looking for the solo kill. The ulti comes out. A lot of damage and a lot of healing just coming from that. Yep. And the Ignite manages to pick up the Alawi. Yeah.
It definitely must have been a comfort pick in the top lane. It doesn't look like the matchup is in Alawi's favor whatsoever. If anything, I'd say that Gwen's looking pretty comfortable here, actually. She's taking pretty much every trade she can take. She's winning it too.
Being able to shroud the Alawi, probably her most important ability if she hits that. She just like increases her damage by 50% if you go on her. But Humanity shoots invulnerable. That seems like can't do too much.
And not a matchup that we've seen before ourselves, and probably not one that a lot of people have seen, but good to know that it looks to be...
All coming down, managed to dodge it with the Vayne. Pretty important.
Do you have Jarvan sneaking through the bushes here? Looking for a lane gank, I believe.
Yeah, they're going to try and look to bait it, I would imagine. Nautilus looks like he might try and go for a hook. Oh, no, they seem to be anticipating it. Very respectful from the Valkyrie team.
Small trade coming out in the mid, but nothing happens. Nothing comes of it. And we have just had a reset come through from the Jarvan. Now, I do want to point out, because we did miss this one just slightly, they did manage to pick up the Herald a little bit earlier when there was a little bit happening on the bot side of the map. Jarvan secured that one, so it'll be interesting to see what he likes to do, or what he wants to do with that. 2 minutes before plates look to fall. I'm not sure who they'll use, though.
Yeah, the Herald is going to be really low value this game. Every lane has 5 plates. Another dive coming down to the bot lane. Don't expect the Jarvan to be here. The Sruk is still living. The Hecarim gets blown up by the tower damage. Kai'Sa manages to make it out. Nope, she'll fall down to the Kai'Sa. Vayne will pick up the Kai'Sa. A lot of damage. Exhaust coming out.
Oh, and a trade kill.
Manages to trade kill. So much damage coming out from the Kai'Sa there.
Kai'Sa putting out a lot. She was worth shut down, so I would still say that trade kill is definitely worth it for the Vayne, but not what the Vayne would have expected without a doubt. And there's the Herald coming through. It looks like it will actually pick up a few plates just before they all fall, which is decent.
Just so much damage coming from the isolated Q, as well as the exhaust reducing the damage onto her. It's really well played. Not many people will be able to find a trade kill there after the dive goes so wrong.
I will say very well played by ZKW on the Kai'Sa. And I'm interested to see what else they bring to the table here. 4-1 already, and every play we've seen has been quite well in their favor.
Yeah. Well, at this point, they're down 3k gold. Alliance Chancho, you know, they're falling a little bit behind. Versus dive comp as well, it's really not where you want to be. You need to have the gold to be able to kind of not get instantly one shot and then be able to kite them back, especially with this Vayne. Vayne, unfortunately, at this point, is going to be very far behind. It's going to take a while before she's able to do the Vayne montage plays.
And hopefully we do see some of those. It would make for a great comeback, that's for sure. 4k gold down as a team, so...
Wow, that is interesting. So if the Alawi hits the E, then it still hits her, because...
Oh, right, even if she hits the W, she still gets marked by the damage? Yep. Another engage coming through there, and oh my god, that's a lot of damage coming down. They will pick up a trade kill in the mid lane for it, though. And then another trade kill coming through in the top side for Valkyrie. A lot happening on the map there. So kills happening in all 3 lanes. I still think Valkyrie probably comes out ahead there. They do pick up the dragon. And they also look to get the kill on the Soraka, which is
pretty free dive. This game is kind of snowballing out of control. Valkyrie really just taking over this one with their dive comp.
And they pick up another kill in the mid lane as well. Like we just said, kind of spiraling out of control into their favor. I can only imagine the rest of the game's going to go like this. It'd be interesting to see if Alliance can mount a comeback, but I'm just not seeing it myself.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see if the Vayne can pick up something here. Maybe look for a solo kill here. Nope, not quite confident enough to go for that.
I don't think she has it in her against the isolated Q coming through. Like, Kai'Sa will just completely shred her.
Kai'Sa queued the minions. Didn't know where Nautilus is there, so I think that's why she's not going to try and go for anything like that. But at this point, you kind of have to go for some desperation plays.
That is definitely very true, actually. Like we said, we mentioned it once before, we mentioned it again, and I'll say it yet again as we pointed it out. I don't know if going for the Turbo Chem Tank was the option for Jarvan here. He is the most well off on their team, I would say, but he's just built kind of tank utility, and the rest of his team really can't do a lot to help him.
Yeah, 15 minutes and being down 6.6 hit gold. Almost 20%. That's a very large difference. Almost insurmountable.
And I will say I've been... oh, here we go. Vayne might be looking to pick up a kill.
On the Rumble kill, the Soraka silence making you can't press any buttons. That's a pretty big death.
Quite a big death. Unfortunately, no shutdown going towards the Vayne as he was only 2-on-1. But definitely still a nice kill.
Who's going back?
Herald picked up from the side of Valkyrie. Maybe we'll look to use it here to break the mid tower, or they might just... Yep, there we go.
The Rift Herald breaking through the mid tower opens a lot more up to invades and taking this Jarvan's camps. Ekram's already a little bit ahead. So they'll probably just try to take this tower down now.
I am liking the aggression coming out from the Gwen. So Gwen is, in all honesty, probably one of my most favorite champions, both to play and to watch.
Really?
Vayne being caught out here. Maybe gets away. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I'm going to force use the ulti, but I don't think he'll be too sad about having to trade the ult for the exhaust.
Definitely well worth it. But yes, back to the point. I do personally quite like Gwen. I find her very fun to play, especially when she was recently viable in the jungle. And I'm enjoying seeing her kind of roaming around the topside jungle, really just kind of showing her dominance. Tower shot that didn't need to be picked up on the Kai'Sa there, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely saying something in chat after, maybe complaining about turrets, even though I just walked into that one to start with. Oh, the damage coming down onto the Kai'Sa there.
God, and she picks that one, and another kill from the top side. I think this one, I hate to call games early, but I think this one might be... Oh, nice shutdown.
If he can manage to pick this up, it might be winnable.
And
he didn't pick it up. It was a nice try, though.
A nice attempt. Look, the shutdown was definitely great. There was a lot of gold in her pocket. I still have my doubts about whether that's going to be enough. But with that being said, it does give them...
unlikely that it will be, but we gotta give them the chance. They can do their thing. I think when you're playing a ranged champion, especially versus the Gwen, generally you kind of have the advantage. You don't have to walk into the Gwen. You just kind of wait out her shroud, and then you hit her. You can't really do much against it. She's kind of short range unless she can hit the ulti on you. But when the Gwen gets this far ahead, oh man.
Oh, when the Gwen gets this far ahead, she is running at you and she does not care.
Yeah, that's about right. You can't even out damage her. You can't do anything against it. So they'll need to find a way to CC her. The Soraka silence can be pretty impactful for those kind of champions.
Yeah, besides, I mean, they don't really have a whole lot of hard lockdown. They have CC coming out from most sides of the team, but nothing that's really going to just completely disable her, I wouldn't think. And then even when they're looking at the Gwen there, they've got to worry about the Kai'Sa, and so there's just a lot to worry about. I'm not too sure they're going to be able to deal with it, that's all.
Yeah. They're not really able to itemize too effectively into magic resist. They do have the two AP solo laners, but the Kai'Sa being this far ahead means that if they go full magic resist, I've experienced it before. You go full magic resist, you think, oh, I'm so strong, and then the Kai'Sa presses Q on you and you instantly die.
Okay, we can see another dragon being picked up. That puts its soul points now for the side of Valkyrie. I'm sure they'll be looking to pick that one up if the game's still going by the time it spawns.
Yep, third dragon going down. Cloud Soul, which you may think, oh, Cloud Soul doesn't do any damage, but I tell you what it does do is it makes the Gwen run really fast. And I don't think you want a Gwen running really fast if you are red team here.
With the Hecarim as well. I'd say that's actually quite a decent soul for the side of Valkyrie.
I think they'll be really happy with that one, honestly. I think
No.
right after Hextech Dragon as most strong this game, I think Hextech Dragon a little bit unbalanced.
Now, I will say I do prefer Hextech Soul purely for the reason that it changes the map. I think there's pretty little debate as to it being probably the best map.
Yeah, everyone likes moving faster, right? And the striker gonna be killed. Everyone's surprised.
And they're just going to keep running
Yep,
through
this-
mid.
The Rumble ulti, just enough of a slow. Pick up the solo kill. Looks like that one was left for him. Oh, the little less overcommitting a little bit. Kai's on that. Oh, a little bit of damage going to Alawi. Not
Okay, and he
managing
manages to
to
get
keep.
away.
Looks like they might just look for Baron here. They're gonna have to try and zone off the Jarvan. They don't really have any vision control in the enemy's red side jungle.
Gwen has
And they
picked up the
definitely-
top tower just there, so she's going to look to join them.
Absolutely. They're gonna have to find somewhere to zone him off. Looks like that's gonna be Gwen's job. Definitely the worst thing you'd want to do here is give Jarvan the opportunity to steal this. That's one of their only ways back into this game, really. Leaving it at 3k, Gwen's managed to get onto the Jarvan. Actually, he goes into the pit, almost with the steal. Really close there. Only about 100 off.
Kaisa managed to
But I
secure it
think-
for the side of Valkyrie, though, so that is great.
Yeah, I think this might be all she wrote. The Baron going down. Valkyrie... Oh, a lot of damage comes down from the Vayne. Ulti time's out, though. Yeah, I think Valkyrie's just going to reset, and they're just going to walk into the enemy's base. Oh, a TP coming from behind. Is that Valkyrie? Yep, it's the Gwen running at you really fast. Not exactly what you want. A lot of damage coming down onto the Seraphine and the Vayne.
I think that
Yeah.
one might be game.
That was a really nice ward. I did not... Or maybe it was a minion. But, yeah, that's one way to close out the game.
I'm not too sure, just because of the death time isn't they going to be able to end anything here, but I think it's pretty far gone.
Gwen healing just a bit too much for the full tank Jarvan.
They are going to back up after just the inhib. Definitely
Oh,
not.
play for fun. Oh, yep, here we go, playing for fun. Let's go.
And she picks up the kill. That was definitely unexpected. I think the rest of the team was planning to leave, but of course, you've got Blockhead knowing his champion, and that's what you want to see, especially on the Gwen pick.
Bit of limit testing there. I'm not sure he 100% knew that he wasn't going to die there. Especially with no-
Maybe not, but he had the confidence in himself, and he managed to pull it off. He's allowed them to... They didn't actually pick up the bot tower, which surprised me. I think it was just the Hecarim on that, so they'll be looking to grab that after a couple more waves. But we look at the gold lead now, where 15, 16k ahead on the side of Valkyrie. Soul Point, which is coming up in a minute 30. I'd say the game is over.
Yeah, I think everyone's about between 1 item and 3 items down on their opponent. So we'll... I imagine this game will be ending very soon, about when a Kaiser W hits. A lot of damage going down onto the supports. The Kaiser ulting in, taking out the Jarvan. Doesn't look so tanky now. 4 times Kaiser picking up the Soraka, picking up the Jarvan. Gwen melting through the rest of the team. And I think they will just waltz down into the Nexus turrets and they will be taking game number 2.
Does look that way. I can't imagine there's any kind of miracle that's going to save Alliance here. And that's 1 Nexus tower, 2 Nexus towers, kill in the fountain, and the Nexus down for the side of Valkyrie. That'll be their 3rd win of the tournament, coming from, again, the 2 teams. Be interesting to see what the other team does tonight on the off-stream games. Definitely been impressed by Valkyrie. They've got...
Yeah, really, really interesting. There were no kills for about the first 10 minutes of the game, and that was a 23-minute game. So
Yeah.
13 minutes of action into the game ending.
Yeah, definitely a fun one to watch, a fun one to see. Very fun to analyze everything that came out of Valkyrie's side. And like I said, they have been surprising us, so I'm interested to see what else they bring to the table. But with that being said, I think that one was not a whole lot to talk about with that. We'll move into our intermission We'll be back in a short while with Game 3, which again will be... with the Game 3 today will be MCOM versus our very own Vespertine Vertigo. New team picked up. Some of you may recognize them under the name potentially UTS, as they were a UTS team. But they are now playing for us. It'll be interesting to see. We're going to be rooting for them, of course. That being said, and that little bit of a rivalry I mentioned earlier, we do also have someone from our org playing for MCOM. Very interesting matchup. Can't wait to see what happens there. Very hard for me to pick sides here, but of course I do have to support my own team. What's your take on the upcoming game there before we close this one out?
Yeah, it should be fun to cast. It would be nice to know a couple more of the names. I'll be looking forward to that one for sure.
Definitely. We'll bring that one up for you shortly. I'll mention one little name that I'm sure you'll know, but Jacko playing for the side of MCOM. So it's going to be a very fun one. Jacko.
I've actually never heard of that guy before.
I'm sure
Oh,
you
wait,
haven't.
no, I know him. Isn't he the Platinum 4 guy who somehow got onto a team?
That is what they refer to him as at the moment. Yeah, something
okay.
like that.
Yeah,
We'll bring a little bit more details onto that one shortly, and we'll see you guys then too.
Darling, if I had bought you flowers, what if you stayed at home that night? Yeah, I've been lonely counting hours while I'm getting blinded by the light. You can break my bones, break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart. You should fucking stay with him. You should fucking stay with him. Break my bones, break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart.
Big way when I'm walking, pray when I'm talking next to you. Fight for my attention, for your ascension, you must prove it. 'Cause if you can find it, you don't confine it, you let it move. Make way for the genie, scream for the dream, may come true. Have you ever played with a queen? I can show you what I mean. I can make you feel free. I got you in another league. Can you meet me on my level? Oh baby, is your rain over? Can you battle with the devil?
Not till you met me. Thought you'd call, but you didn't, so I'm sitting here. Thought I heard my phone ring, but it disappeared. Guess I'm just losing my mind again. I tell myself to breathe in, but the darkness sung its teeth in, and its mind has got me thinking. Sick and tired of feeling, so sick and tired of dreaming. 'Cause I always wake up. Sick and tired of believing that this pain will never end. Oh, I've had enough. Cause it always comes back again, and I'm not even gonna pretend that it's okay. Constantly putting bad thoughts on replay. I really don't like living life this way, but I know that these things will never change. Tell myself to breathe in, but the darkness sun gets deep in, and its mind has got me thinking. So sick and tired of dreaming, 'cause I always wake up.
Okay, and we are back with a little discussion here before we get into game 3, as we're just waiting for the teams to ready up. So team-wise, yet again, as I mentioned, we have MCOM Academy versus Vespertine Vertigo. So our own team versus MCOM, which is also the home of one of our founders. So very interesting kind of match here. I'm very excited to be casting this one. I'm going to be crushed no matter who loses, but I'm also going to be happy. Very emotional game for me here, seeing their first game on stream for our team here, but then also seeing Jacko, a long friend of mine, also playing on the other team. What's your take on that there?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping for Vespertine's sake that Jacko can pick Akshan, because I think we'll have a much higher chance of winning if Jacko is on his Akshan. He's pretty famous for it. Yeah, that's my thoughts on especially the mid lane matchup. Obviously, he's a bit of an Orianna one trick, so we'll be looking to see how he plays that one out.
Most definitely. So he is known for his Orianna. I can speak to that myself. That being said, I do know that his personal take on Orianna this season is that she's not in a great spot. I'm still expecting to see it either banned or picked, to be honest. If it gets through the ban phase, they may hold it and they may still pick it. But at the same time, depending on where Vespertine decides to go, I know, having played alongside it and against it, I would be banning it myself. That being said, a lot of picks could come out from Jacko specifically. He's known for a lot of different champs. Silas is another big one. I know he's quite confident on the Silas. If he gets a matchup, or even just a kind of a team matchup where he has a lot of ults he can take, he'll probably take that Silas too. It's gonna really depend on what he's up against though. Now, for the side of Vertigo, for our team over here, I can't speak a lot to the mid laner. It sounds probably pretty bad that I can't speak to a player of my own team. Of course, we have a lot of stuff that we need to take care of, so I can't be there monitor everything that happens with the team. But I can speak to the bot lane just a little bit. I've seen their synergy together quite a lot in solo duo. I've been in calls with them when they're playing together. I can't leak any champions just because I don't want to give them a disadvantage, although I'm sure everyone can check their OPGGs. But I do know they have great synergy. They talk really well together. They get along quite well. I myself have actually met one of them, which is really cool. Quite a nice guy. And so I'm hoping that they can kind of bring that synergy into this game and hopefully give us a nice display on stream too.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of kind of hyper carries and support type things. Something to get I'd fed. I'll be looking forward to a bit of action in the bot lane, as opposed to our last two games. Been kind of sleeper in the bot lane. Aside from I guess Kaiser picked up a bunch of kills and
Kaiser did pick up a bunch of kills. You know what we haven't seen? We haven't seen a lot of jungle attention in the bot lane. And I wonder if that's something that we'll see come through here. It'll be interesting coming through from the side of Vespertine, as I mentioned. I know of the top laner, I know of the jungler, I know of the ADC. The ADC and the support quite well. When it comes to the mid and jungle, I'm not too familiar with their kind of playstyle and how they work together as a team. So I can't speak on what the jungle might look to do for our team. I can't speak on that for the side of MCOM either, as I haven't seen a lot of their games. What I can say, like I said, bot lane, probably one of their win cons for Vespertine. Top lane, maybe going to play safer. Safe side top, strong side bot. I'm not too sure. But it'll be interesting to see. Champion-wise, I don't want to leak too much. But as we spoke about what Jacko may pick and the kind of picks that he's comfortable on, I will say that from my knowledge, I know that we have a lot of potential support picks that could come through. I also know that ADC, we could see a couple of different champs. One that I've seen a lot is Varus coming through. Not a champ you see a lot. What's your opinion on Varus?
haven't seen him in a very long time. Last time I played him, I ran it down, so I haven't played him for about 3 months.
There we go. That's been a little while there. I will say I've seen a little bit of success coming out from Eden, the bot lane, on that champion. Whether or not that comes through today, whether they decide to go for something a little bit different, will be interesting to see. With that being said, lobbies being formed up now. Fingers crossed we won't be too far out. But if you have any closing thoughts before we go back to an intermission.
Yeah, Varus is one of those champions that can be often, you see it a lot often in pro play, just the utility of the ulti. They made him a lot more solo duo kind of orientated with somewhat recent changes. He gets the cooldown reduction of all his abilities, slower ulti. But it makes him into more of a carry. He can do a lot more damage now.
I do
But-
actually have a question for you.
Mhm.
Lethality or on hit?
Always on hit. I don't think
hit?
we'll see any lethality.
I would
Not
agree
amazing.
with you there. I do know some people have their preference. I've never liked the lethality build. I'm a fan of on hit. I hope if that's their pick, they go on hit. But we'll see that coming up shortly as the lobby is, like I said, about to be formed.
Yeah,
We'll be
the
back.
the real problem with the Varus and the on hit, obviously he can't melt through tanks at all, and it's just a poke style, which means you kind of need something in the top lane, maybe jungler, generally in the top lane, that can kill the tanks and get through the front line. Maybe something like a Camille, something like something that kind of identity. But those champions aren't really that strong at the moment. Varus, it just doesn't really do enough damage to warrant being built in this kind of way. I think if you're going to play Varus lethality, then you should probably just play Jhin or something similar instead.
Mhm.
So going on the on-hit build, more of a carry, kind of just a DPS type style with the utility.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing maybe that pick, maybe something else that I'm not myself even aware of just yet. We'll see that shortly as we jump back to intermission, and we'll be with you guys soon.
I love you like a supernova, burn into you like a shooting star. If you give me your whole life, I would still have room for more, 'cause I've got that appetite. Baby, I never feel whole. You might get me through the night, but it will never be enough. It will never be enough. 'Cause I'm a black girl for your love. For your love.
Mama said you're meant to burn as bright as a star among the midnight sky. All the pressure blinded me, but now I see I'm no different from the rest. You said I'd fly away, but my walls have kept me down. Now I'm lost and I'm afraid, and I'm close to hit the ground. You said I'd fly away. You said I'd fly anyway, but I keep on falling. You said I'd fly anyway, but I keep on falling. But I keep on falling. We're all searching for that open door. Show me proof that there is something more. I just hope I am okay with the choices I make. Maybe then I'll understand. You said I'd fly away, but my walls have kept me down. Now I'm lost and I'm afraid, and I'm close to hit the ground. You said I'd fly away. You said I'd fly anyway, but I keep on falling. Baby girl, I know you wanna hit it, oh no. I'm a playboy like Sinatra. See the evil eye every time we pull up. Talking about the fakes, but that's not us. You know you can call me Dundada. Baby, we gon' pull up to the opera. Baby girl, I know you wanna hit it, oh no. I'm a playboy like Sinatra. Who that hopping out the Beamer? It's a party when I see her. Fell in love with my demeanor, and she love the way I treat her. We gon' pour it by the leader. Everybody watching now, I'm blowing off the meter. All these people talking Frank Sinatra through the speakers. If they got a problem, cause in time he got a feature. So I'm popping off. Now I'm hearing talks about falling off. I could never. All these people that been dropping off, I could never. All that talking just to top it off, I could never. Got a bag, homie. Yeah. I don't mean to brag, homie. Know a lot of people hate on me. Get the fuck up out my way, homie. Yeah. Baby girl, I know you wanna hit it, oh no. I'm a playboy like Sinatra. See the evil eye every time we pull up. Talking about the fakes, but that's not us. You know you can call me Dundada. Baby, we gon' pull up to the opera. Baby girl, I know you wanna hit it, oh no. I'm a playboy like Sinatra. Ain't nobody pop where I'm from. No attention, now these hoes falling like it's autumn. Richie Palo on top, that's a fucking problem. Russian cream, suede seats like we hit the ladder. And I hold on to my pride, cause you know where I'm from. And I grip that bottle tight, I'ma sip it till it's done. I'ma take that corner wide while I'm screaming red rum. You the Bonnie to my Clyde, now we really on one. Now I know you wanna party all night, mix the Henny with Bacardi. All night in that Giorgio Armani. All white, and I know you love that vodka with peace Sprite. Can I hit it in the morning? Cause I'm flying, man, I'm soaring. I'm just going through the motions. There's no telling where we're going. Baby girl, I know you wanna hit it, oh no. I'm a playboy like Sinatra. See the evil eye every time we pull up. Talking about the fakes, but that's not us. You know you can call me Dundada. Baby, we gon' pull up to the opera. Baby girl, I know you wanna hit it, oh no. I'm a playboy like Sinatra.
Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon. And I end up alone, I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Ain't got no place to call my own. Feels like I'm better off alone. So sad inside and hopeless. These Hollywood hoes never notice. Can't get back on. You're gone, girl, I miss you. Can't get back on. You're gone, girl, I miss you. Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon. And I end up alone, I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon. How'd I end up alone? I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon. How'd I end up alone? I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you're Hollywood perfect. toxic.
I know that you're afraid. It feels like every day things are slipping away. You're slipping away, and you think back to a time that you were lost. Thoughts disorganized, can't seem to dry your eyes, and chaos is collapsing from your mind. And you say that you're fine, but now you're out of time. Out of time. You're out of time. You're out of time. And now you're out of time. Now you're out of time. Never measure up, you'll never be enough. People say tough love, you should just suck it up. And you think back to a time that you were lost. Thoughts disorganized, can't seem to dry your eyes, and chaos is collapsing from your mind. And you say that you're fine, but now you're out of time. Out of time. You're out of time. You're out of time. And now you're out of time. Now you're out of time.
Okay, hello. Sorry about the long wait there. We are back. Very shortly we'll be going into Champ Select in Client. We did have to do a little bit of a pro draft here, so pick order, ban order might be a little bit funky. We do, of course, apologize about that. But we are getting in very shortly. And so, as we mentioned yet again, matchup will be MCOM versus Vespertine Vertigo. They are getting ready now. So just waiting for that. But yeah, we'll be jumping to Champ Select. Unfortunately, we won't be able to analyze the picks as well as we would like with the pro draft, but regardless, I think the game's going to be very fun to watch. And that'll be perfect.
Just waiting on one person. I mean, it'll still be interesting to talk about the picks. Maybe we won't be able to talk about the pick order as much as otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But we can still analyze the comps, talk about that.
Yeah, most definitely. And we do, of course, have the pro draft up in front of us. That being said, I haven't actually had a look at it myself besides a couple of things. I will give a small spoiler just because I have to. I see a Wukong.
Yeah.
I do see a Wukong. There is a Wukong. I apologize for the cams. That was my mistake. So yes, there's a Wukong. It yet again is showing itself with 100% pick ban rate. It's been picked in 5 games. It's been banned in 1. This champion, I believe, potentially so far has also won 4 of the 5 games it's been picked in. This being the 5th, so we wouldn't actually know, unfortunately, when. If this will be a win. But I hate to be the one to say it, I'm starting to get sick of seeing this champion. I've been watching MSI, I've been seeing him there, I've been hosting this, I've been seeing him here, I'm seeing him in solo queue. I'm so over this champion.
No one likes Wukong. I don't even think people who play Wukong like Wukong.
I picked him up. I played a couple of games of Wukong. I was like, this champ seems pretty decent. No, it's so boring. I mean, with the new jungle changes with the W, it's nice being able to go over walls, but I just don't think that they've really provided a lot to him that makes him any more enjoyable, that's for sure. And it looks like we are about to transition into Champ Selects. And here we go.
We'll just talk about them as they come in. Diana Ban, one of the better champions, combos really well if they have a Yasuo player or anything like that with strong AP jungler. Orianna, obviously Jack, bit of a one trick, only plays Orianna well, so they'll ban that one out, get rid of that. Gangplank, a lot of global utilities, scaling in the top lane, definitely kind of some of the more tanky champions if they're looking to draft something like that, so it'll be taken out. Zillion again, one of the more one of the more anti-assassin kind of scaling champions are going to take that one away. Pretty strong champion. Shen more indicates they're playing more towards the bot lane. And Ornn being picked here. That's why they banned the Gangplank, looking to take that one away. Camille into the Ornn. Obviously a lot of true damage coming down into that. Alright, we've got the Wukong versus the Viego. A bit of an interesting matchup. Obviously the AD damage means the Wukong can get a bit of value out of his passive. Doesn't make it too easy to skirmish into him. But a lot more team fighting out of the Wukong and the Camille in terms of just like a type of skirmishing. But obviously the Ornn's going to outscale them by a bit in the later game. We've got the Victor coming up for Jack. And versus the Azir, obviously both mages looking to just throw out some AP damage. Banning of the Thresh versus the Nautilus.
Now,
Trying to get rid of some of that engage.
I do want to give you props for something here. So you did predict that if Vespertine were going to pick the potential Varus, that they would have to pick something like Camille on the top side, I believe you mentioned.
Yep.
And there's the Varus to complement that Camille. So that was very well analyzed by you. So props where that is there. Aphelios coming out, which of course, I'm sure if you want to give an analysis on this bot lane matchup, I'm not too sure. But Aphelios definitely a strong champion.
So versus the Tahm Kench and the Aphelios, I want to see what goes with the Varus. Perhaps the Galio. Not sure why that hovered since the draft's already done. Yep, so the Galio versus the Tahm Kench to start with. I would say that's probably a little bit Galio favored, just because the Galio can do a lot more with the team. Obviously they have the Wukong and the Camilla's dive, but the Azir and the Varus are kind of just able to sit back and throw abilities. Tahm Kench really strong into Varus. That's one of the things that we need to take note of. You know, you get hit by the Varus ulti, Tahm Kench gobbles him up, and there's kind of like a really worthwhile trade for Tahm Kench. Obviously, just disengaging the Varus ulti. But
yeah.
The Galio with the Camille, obviously really strong engage. We'll see if they'll be able to Tahm Kench ulti that one out. It is a pretty strong counter. It's that kind of engage.
Yeah, and then as we mentioned, obviously the Wukong coming through again. Let's see if it has that early game dominance like they all have had. I am myself. I have to support the Wukong in this game. Purely because it is outside of the team here, but look, yeah, I'm sick of seeing it.
Yeah,
it's such a boring thing to watch now. I mean, look, it can make some great plays, of course, and it can be very useful, but hopefully we get a little bit more focus on maybe a couple of different champs instead of seeing that 10-0 Wukong at 10 minutes.
I think this might be the most boring game of the night. We have scaling mid, both melee champions bot lane, and scaling ADCs, and then Ornn versus Camille. So I might fall asleep in this game. Viego, AD champion versus Wukong. Can't really invade him, even though he might have a bit of priority in the mid lane, the Victor versus Zia. To be honest, I don't know which way that shoves. I think Varus should have the push on the Aphelios, depending on how the early levels go. But we might be falling asleep.
Well, with that being said, let's jump into intermission while we wait for the game to get started. And hopefully we don't fall asleep at the wheel here. But we'll see you guys shortly.
whatever. All this ever about you long gone, it don't matter. Ride or die, that's been the deal. The light of your back, I disappear. But if you don't play that for me, I'm not.
All right, getting right into the third match of the day. We've got MCOM on the left side versus Vespertine Vertigo on the right side. Looks like we're just going to see a 5-point from both teams. Not trying to do anything too weird. About what I expect for the rest of the game as well.
Definitely looks like, as we said, might be a little bit of a sleepy game. Hopefully not, but more than likely going to be quite a slow game. Team's going to look to scale up, obviously, with their mid lane scaling. But, I mean, both ADCs scale quite well as well, to be fair. And then Ornn wanting to contribute late game in team fights. Camille may look to be a little bit aggressive, but really she's not going to do a whole lot against the Ornn.
Yeah, so just one thing I want to point out from the side of MCOM. The cleanse on the Varus is going to have, on the Aphelios is going to have a lot of value this game. Not only because you can cleanse the Galio Taunt and the Varus ulti, but also you can cleanse the exhaust coming out of the Varus, so it can be really strong even in the early game, where generally you'd prefer to have like a heal or something.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, especially against, like you just said, against that, it's going to be interesting to see how they use it, how that goes. For the time being, though, very basic stuff going through.
Yeah, a lot of mana being used by Jack in the mid lane. Looks like leashless start by the Viego, letting the Ornn get into the lane to start with, I believe.
Very interesting start. A little bit of a skirmish in the mid lane. I would have imagined, so I don't play a lot of mid myself. I would have imagined this would have been Vic decided early, but it looks to be like Azir is kind of giving him a little bit of a poke, a little bit of harass there. What's your take on that?
So the problem with Victor in the early game, he can bully out a lot of champions that don't have as much range as him. So he can start the Q and he can shield himself obviously with that and deal damage at the same time. But against the Azir, he's forced to start the E. Obviously, he's not really gonna realistically be able to Q the Azir and get a good trade out of it. So he starts the E, kind of has a bit of poke, but he doesn't really have as much trading potential as normal.
I do apologize, I've forgotten to do something here, which we will fix. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and that's all sorted now. We should be good. Alright.
Both junglers just looking the full clear. Wukong a little bit ahead of the Viego, pretty close at the moment. I think Wukong just going to pick up his red buff now. Yep, just one camp ahead, just about. That's just mainly based off of the leashless start. Yeah,
so leashless start putting Viego behind us a little bit. We do know Wukong is, unfortunately, quite a strong champion. Doesn't have much to play in part of his clear, though, as Viego has quite a decent clear himself. But I'm interested to see what happens from the side of the junglers. Looks like there might be a gank going in mid.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna look for the scuttle crab here, whereas he's probably not gonna catch eyes out here. No prior on the top side, so he's gonna be forced to back off, maybe go towards the bot scuttle, but Vespertine bot lane walking up. They might be looking for the Viego here as he goes towards the scuttle. Oh, looks like he might hit the plant here. He might see them. Yeah,
and he does.
Good call outs, good communication by MCOM.
Definitely good call outs. Also, decent roam coming out to kind of stop him there. They had the wave pushed in on the side of Vespertine, so it wasn't too big of a deal for them to roam up there. It would have been nice if they had caught something, but they still get to zone him away for a little while. He picked up the scuttle anyway, though.
Yeah, that's just the kind of thing you can work out if you have the Wukong there and you can kind of look for a 3v3, but obviously Wukong in the top bush, trying to look for the Ornn here. The Camille set up off of the pillar, going in. Red buff slow, Ignite coming down, Flash going out. B-Jagger will just barely live. Looks like he'll be forced to recall. He has the TP, he's not really going to miss anything out of that. Yeah, trading the Ignite and the time from the Wukong. A lot of time from the Wukong being wasted there.
It was flash for Ignite there, but unfortunately, probably not a great trade, especially considering the time and resources they put into that one.
Yeah, the lane will be slow pushing to the Camille if she can make it to stop the Ornn pushing in time. Should be pretty happy with that.
I don't think that wave might get the tower first.
Yeah, she can still get most of the CS. Camille, not really a lane counter to very many champions. She wants to really get the Triforce or the Sundra. and then look for these big tank destroying Qs, big Cho'Gath ultis. But before that, kind of just like a tickle champion.
Yeah, that's the thing. You really start to see her come online at that kind of like 1.5, 2 item spike, where she just deletes your health bar, even for tanks. But this matchup specifically, probably one that I would say she's still going to struggle a little bit with, just because of how beefy Ornn becomes.
Yeah, as you saw there, the shield coming from the Camille passive isn't blocking magic damage, which is actually where most of Ornn's damage comes from. Especially when he goes in for the trades. That's quite interesting.
You want to see, and so correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not not a very big Camille player, but that does scale with. Let's stop there while we see the tank through. Maybe. So it's supposed to be an adaptive shield, if I'm not mistaken, but of course that doesn't really help against tanks, who typically are AD champions, but deal more magic damage due to the nature of their build. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, well, generally the adaptive force, when you go a tank, it just goes to AD, because I think it changes per champion, but it will go to ADs, and you can CS easier, etc. But obviously that's not really working in the Camille's favor here for these trades.
Of course not. We might see another gank coming in here.
Might be hard to pull off. There's no ignite on the Camille. A lot of damage coming down. The tower aggro drop goes to the Wukong. He might die to the turret. Is that an execute? No. B-Jagger manages to pick it up. Jacko flashing in with the ulti. No slow going down. There's the gravity well. And there you go. That's a 2-for-1. Cost him the TP, but the Azirs followed him and he hasn't gotten anything out of that. So I think MCOM will be very happy with how this turned out.
Definitely looks like it. The plays are definitely, I would say, more than I was expecting coming into these two team comps here. I was not expecting any Ornn to die at all in this game. And although maybe not working out completely in their favor, they're still attempting to make plays from the side of Vespertine, which is great to see. Interesting happening up here. Cletus taking a lot of damage from Jacko there, but he will happily just shrug that one off.
Yeah, the Camille's not really able to kill Victor here, so the gravity well is going to do a lot for the self-peel. Doesn't know where Wukong is, trying to respect it.
And a lot of poke coming out from the side of Jacko there on the Victor. Looks like he's going to back up though.
Yeah, looks like they're going to try and trade back. They don't really want to keep your Ornn mid lane for too long.
No, definitely not. Especially in that matchup, the Ornn's just going to harass and poke down, but they've got the lane swap happening back up there.
Looks like nothing will come out of the bot lane play. Almost. So Wukong just barely not having the ulti up. And in range.
And I can certainly say that at 8 minutes in, this is one of the slowest games we've had. I believe we did have one, I think it was the last game, where about 8 minutes there was nothing happening. But I have a feeling that this tempo might continue for a little while longer this time.
I think once we hit the ultis on the Varus and the Camille particularly, I mean she's already hit it, but we should see a couple more plays here. Might look for a couple 4-mans or something along those lines. Maybe a couple dives top. Wukong trying to look for something on the Viego. Ulti coming out. Not much damage coming onto the Wukong with his bonus resist, and looks like Hydrate will go down.
Yeah,
a little bit of an overextension here. He doesn't have any of his teammates near, and doesn't know where the Wukong is.
No, so no teammates near. Mid just grabbed Prio, but he was still in the middle. Jacko was still at the mid wave there, pushing that out. Like you said, had no idea where anyone else was, and the roam down from Cletus allows him to secure that kill.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of maybe a bit of overconfidence.
Possibly coming out there. It's quite an even game so far, I would say.
Yeah, well, if you look at where the gold is, you know, we have the gold on the Victor. I think the Victor is really crucial to this game. Obviously, with the Wukong not getting any magic resist saved for about the 5th time tonight. Oh,
very well played.
Wow.
Very well played coming out from B-Jack on that Ornn in the top lane.
That's the Ornn combo.
That was a very nice combo, I would say.
Very well played. You don't often see very much skill expression on Ornn, but that is one of the ways you can.
And we might see something happening, maybe with a dive in the bot. I don't think so, but they are looking for something. And looks like they're just gonna go for the invade instead.
Yeah, Azir might be in a bit of trouble here. I think he has the shuffle, so he should be alright. Oh, the Tahm Kench E. Oh, W. Yep. And nothing will come of it.
Well played
Convenient
by
blast.
reasonably well. I mean, champions coming from all 3 different directions. He didn't have to blow a summoner, didn't have to blow any ultis, and he got out there without getting hit, I believe.
I'd like to see them try to use this Herald in the bot lane. Maybe try to look for a play. Get a couple kills and drop that there. I don't think any of the other lanes are really going to be susceptible enough to that kind of play.
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely the most likely place to use that one. Mid lane seems to be at a little bit of a stalemate. Okay, maybe a potentially good play. Oh, that was a possible misplay coming out.
But it doesn't matter. Looks like the damage will come through. The Azir picks it up exactly where you want it. And Jacko is dead. Looks like they might better look for a play with the Rift Herald mid now.
Yeah, and just as we were talking about it being a bit of a stalemate lane, we see a 3-man play coming in there. Slight misplay, but it didn't matter as they had calculated that one, or I would say over-calculated that one maybe. And they pick up the kill there. And then there's the
unfortunately, Jack doesn't realize he doesn't have his shockwave this game, so he can't get away from that kind of thing. No phase rush either, just has the airy. I'd like to see them look for a little bit more here in 4v5. Looks like they'll just drop it and walk towards the dragon. Respawning in 5 seconds.
Yeah, very interesting point you made there with the no shockwave on the Victor. It's definitely not something you typically would see, but I'm sure Jacko isn't quite aware of that one. Very well played there to avoid that. Might still fall.
A lot of damage coming down onto the Camille. The Galio disengaged. Coming through. Oh, blocked by the Ornn. A lot of damage still coming through onto the Viego. The Ornn ulti going through, knocks up the Camille. Enough damage to go through. Viego gets the reset. Galio not having enough damage to finish that off. Yeah.
I'd say very well played by Redemption there on the Galio. Potentially a miscommunication with the top lane there. I think it was a great disengage, maybe even a great re-engage, but I'm not too sure that they were actually able to pick anything up there, and they overcommitted just a little bit.
Yeah, I think he could have positioned a bit better. He might have been able to get the E onto the Viego, and then it could have been a much better play. I guess that is just a bit rough. Ornn played it pretty well, blocks the E. B-Jagger popping off a bit on the Ornn, quite impressed.
Definitely, the way, I mean, look, Ornn's not at least in my opinion, not an overly complicated champion, but he's playing it to near perfection with the way he's hitting the combos. With the knock-up, with the ulti, it's very nice to see.
Victor E for the damage. Oh, a lot of damage coming down onto the Azir. The shuffle goes through, a lot of damage going back onto the Azir once again. Yeah, just not enough. The Victor has the Sork Pen boots, which is really just making the difference there in that kind of all-in. Standing on the Victor ulti, obviously gonna not do too much for you.
Unfortunately not, no. And we may
ulti here, flash in, and he might just live from this.
Oh, and
really
the flash
close.
coming out to get him out just by the skin of his teeth.
Red Smite, and he drops the emote. That's what you like to see. Really well played by Jack there, baiting him into the bush. He flashes in. I think Tempest really could have saved the flash to get out of the gravity well, and he would have had a much better time.
Yeah, look, definitely. I mean, there's also a lot going through his mind, I'm sure, at that point. What could be waiting in this bush? Do I want to slowly walk towards it? Do I want to flash in? He took the, I guess, the over-ambitious play, and it didn't work out, but not the end of the world. Jacko with another kill, though, which would be quite a problem for them.
Yep. See a lot of percentage HP damage on the side of Vespertine. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, it really just depends, because they do, of course, have two quite very health-based, health-heavy tanks, with of course, the Ornn coming through, and then the Tahm Kench in the support role. That being said, although Ornn is 3-in-1, they're not really the carries, so I do understand why they're building these sorts of items, of course. It does make sense. I just don't know if they're going to have the damage to compete with the champions like Victor and potentially Viego if he does manage to pop off. And then worst case scenario with the Aphelios if he gets ahead.
It's quite interesting. I don't see Varus very often, and even less do I see Blade of the Wrong King first on these kind of champions. Obviously used to be a thing on Lucian, not really much anymore. Used to be a thing on Cogmore. Then he doesn't like the item anymore. All these mythics coming through with the item changes. Kind of shoved Blade of the Wrong King out. Not really effective enough. Oh, a good bit of damage coming down. The Varus ulti going through. I don't think he'll be able to pick up anything off of this. Actually, Flash goes through. Exhaust coming down onto the Aphelios. Doesn't realize he has cleanse. Might just be able to walk this one out at least. Really well played by Aid.
Yeah, decent play there. As well as that, I think maybe a little bit of a misplay by the Tom Kench. I believe he flashed in and just wasn't accounting for Galio flying in there and just kind of cleaning him up. But yeah, well played, and that's, I guess, the Blade of the Rune King damage coming through that we were just talking about.
Yeah, big one-item power spike, I suppose.
Not a lot of champions you see it anymore. The last one that rings the bell, and you still don't want to build it on anymore anyway, but was first item for Viego.
Yeah.
But,
I think that's only because he's the Ruined King. So obviously, you have to build his sword on him, no?
I don't know. I particularly don't bother building it a whole lot lately. I don't find it very strong, but...
You get the lore buff. Isn't that broken?
Look, I hate to break it to you, but it's not a real buff.
You're telling me I shouldn't be building Infinity Edge on Aatrox because he's an edgy champion?
No, you should be building it on Aphelios because he's an edgy champion.
Ah, okay. Got it.
A little bit of a different one there.
And, just a bit of grouping. Dragon's coming up. 30 seconds. Going to be clearing out Vision by MCOM. Camille's still in the top side. Has the TP up. However, I don't think they're really going to have an opportunity to get into the pit without the front line to check for them. They're probably going to trade the top turret. Not too bad of a trade, considering it doesn't seem like Dragon Soul is going to be a threat for a little while.
Now, I've got a bit of a question for you build-wise here, if we look down at builds. Coming out from the Varus, I do know he particularly likes building these items, but the boots on the Varus, on Eid over here, what's your take on it? I know he likes to go either Merc Treads or play the Steel Caps in favor of attack speed boots or something along those lines. What's your take on that?
I wouldn't be building plated Steel Caps. I don't like building defensive boots. I do more damage. He's building it for the Aphelios. Maybe he expects the Viego to get on top of him. I don't think that's something you should really be building around. I think if you're playing well enough and you have the peel that you do with the Azir and the Galio, you don't really need these defensive boots. I think maybe if you had some kind of enchanter, it gets a bit more effective to build defensive stats. If he doesn't like the damage, then that's fine. I think it's more of a, if you want to build it, you can. It doesn't make too much of a difference. But I think he might regret it a little bit if he's not building a Wit's End anytime soon versus the Victor, because I think that's really going to be his main threat.
Yeah, most definitely. It looks like the Victor coming through will be a problem. I'm sure he's going to have enough damage to kind of start shooting those tanks just a little bit, as will the rest of the team. But the Victor and the Aphelios potentially could be a problem.
A little bit of trading coming down. Looks like Gravity Well is going to stop any kind of aggression coming through. Camille ulti coming down with the Galio ulti. Time Kench looks like he might die pretty quickly here. Yep, he just goes down. Wukong solo killing the Aphelios. No one there to help him. A big team fight coming through. The Galio taunts coming through onto the Ornn. B-Jagger's going to go down. 300 gold shutdown going to the Azir, exactly where you wanted. Jacko trolling a little bit by being in the bot lane with no TP, and his team maybe a bit of miscommunication as well. Looking to fight for this Herald.
Yeah, most definitely. I can only imagine a bit of miscommunication. He is bot side without the TP. That may have been a mistake, but the team definitely also should have been aware of that, you would think.
Absolutely.
And a flash play coming in there. They might want to pick up another one.
Varus ulti coming down onto the Viego. You'll make it out. He's got the little shroud thing. Can't remember the name of it. Manages to run out. Gives him a lot of move speed. Not really catchable after that.
Okay, and a lot of tempo being picked up from the side of Vespertine over here. Of course, as I said earlier, I do have to favor them because they are our team, but nonetheless, a great match so far. And honestly, although maybe a little bit sleepier than we would have liked, not as bad as I was expecting.
Yeah, that's it. It looks like we're going to be going for the Rage Blade second just to melt through these tanks. That is an item that I am a pretty big fan of on Varus. Obviously, with the change like a little bit ago, you get more cooldown reduction with the on hits when you pop them. And there's lots of percentage HP damage.
Now, something I have noticed a lot coming out from the side of MCOM, they do seem to like invading, but they don't seem to have a lot of info when they do it. I'm wondering if this is just a bit of overconfidence, maybe an oversight, but it does seem like they do like to run into the jungle as a group or on their own, and they just don't know where the rest of the enemy is.
Azir, a bit of lag there, but we've gotten through. Oh no, a bit of a misclick onto the turret. He drops the turret. Oh, that's got to feel a little bit bad.
That is definitely unfortunate there.
And this is the 1v1 though. He might get a a bit of bonus CS off of dropping the turret. I don't think you can be too sad about that.
Yeah, it looks definitely
Picking
better
up
to
the
place it
cannon.
than to not place it if you're going to die.
Exactly. We won't worry about the cooldown and just pretend that doesn't exist. Is he going to pick up 2 CS off of the turret? That might be a cannon and a melee. That's really big.
There we go.
And looks like they're just going to be trading a couple more waves in the mid lane. Not a lot happening.
Okay, now coming out from these mid laners, they are actually both reasonably strong. I would say Jacko on the Victor probably a little bit further ahead, but
Yeah,
both players showing kind of quite a display of skill here. What's your
Building
take as we move
towards
late again?
the Shadow Flame, I believe. That is the Shadow Flame on Jack. I'm not sure how to feel about it this game. I don't think that he will be hitting champions with no magic resist, especially when the Varus gets the rest of his items. We've got the lockets giving bonus stats. We've got the Merc Treads building into more eventually. But I mean, it's a couple shields, I guess. It's not completely unjustified. Looking more towards the 1v1 with that kind of item.
Most definitely, we'll see what happens with that. I have no doubt that he'll both provide a lot of strength in the side lanes and then also in the team fights, as he does. It'd be interesting to see how he matches the Azir, though. Azir also being quite a strong late game champion, especially in team fights too.
Yeah, I think Victor can really look for these kind of plays where if Azir wants to look for a fight, he has to like shuffle in, knock backwards, needs his jungle there. Victor doesn't really need that. He can kind of poke with the E, send in the ulti. The slow, once he gets the fully upgraded Hex Core, can be kind of devastating against champions like Azir. Where they have to commit their dashes to get out, or they're just going to die to that. Well, the Camille going in with the Galio ulti. Victor gets eaten up by the Palm Kench. We were talking about before with the disengage. Azir shuffle going through. Wukong coming through. Manages to pick up the Viego. A lot of knockouts from the Ornn. Everyone getting stunned by the gravity well. Wukong goes down. So much time bought by that gravity well. Really clutch. Gale Force coming in from the Aphelios. Not managing to pick up anyone. Almost with the Palm Kench W. Really
And
close. Nothing
it did look
too
like,
much. Just a 2-for-1.
It did look like Azir was able to pick up a second kill there. Maybe another re-engage coming from
Oh,
Jacko.
Jack's gone crazy. Oh, no.
A little bit of a misplay, potentially.
Oh, no. I'm going to be flaming him for that after this game.
Without a doubt, I'm sure his coaches will also have to talk to him about that one.
Palm Kench also dies from that. Gotta feel a little bit bad. He'll be a little bit sad.
A little bit of a sloppy play coming up from the side of MCOM there, and then Vespertine kind of cleaning it up, playing it a little bit more patiently than probably most would, and it paid out in their favor.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming out of this Varus. Picks up the Rage Blade now. Really big spike, especially in this game. I'm interested to see if he's going to go for the Mythic, maybe the Shield Bow now, or if he'll go for something like the Wit's End. Looks like he will be going for the Shield Bow. I'm not sure what else that would build into, maybe a Bloodthirster. But definitely the Shield Bow.
Yeah, I
We
would
can,
only assume the Shield Bow. I mean, look, some champions, they don't want their Mythic. Unfortunately, the Mythics kind of lock you into a set playstyle, and you want to build a couple of different things first. But I think he's getting to the point now where the Mythic just makes sense.
A lot of gold onto the Azir and the Varus, which is exactly where VSP wants it. MCOM maybe trying to clear out a bit of vision around the Baron. Obviously, you don't want that being taken for free. With the Varus, with the Rage Blade and the Blade of the Rune King, a lot of DPS to the Baron.
We see Azir side lane down there. We've got it looks like Victor, Jack on Victor, looking to roam down and match him as he approaches the tower. Potentially a play happening around the top side jungle.
Bit of a flank coming through from the Ornn. Doesn't look like his team's quite close enough to be able to follow up. Azir on the bot lane managing to take the turret, I believe. Yep, that'll go down. Bit more gold to him.
Yeah, and Vespertine, who some would say are the underdogs in this scenario, currently up 2k gold and matching on dragons.
Yeah, it's great to see, really. Very, very competitive game. I think this one might go into the 40 minutes. two back to front team comps. I think the MCOM has the beefier tank with the Tahm Kench and especially the Ornn. But the Wukong and the Camille definitely offering a lot more damage, especially towards the front line.
Yeah, so Jacko down towards the bot side of the map with no TP, so and I'm sure VSP is definitely aware of that. Looking at the Baron.
We can go for this, go for a fight. 4v5. Galio looks like he might go down. Not quite. Affiliate's dropping a lot of damage. Looks like the Wukong getting the resist. A lot. Victor's made it to the fight. And VSP is just gonna have to run off with their tail between their legs.
Yeah, very unfortunate. It was.
I'm not sure how that went so wrong.
It did unfortunately go wrong. I'm sure that's not what they had envisioned. I think a lot of that was due to. That was a really great call. I believe a lot of that was due to the Ornn. I wish I had clipped that because I wanted to go back and have a look at that one there, which I need to really do, so I apologize for that. But yeah, I think it was a lot to do with the Ornn kind of zoning off with the ulti. It allowed Viego to get into a great position, and with that, he picked up the Galio, used that to re-engage, picked up a second kill as well. Decently played from the side of MCOM there.
Yeah, I think when the Wukong doesn't make it on top of the Aphelios or on top of the Victor, then teamfights can really start to go sour.
Most definitely. That's equalized the gold here now, so they're both sitting at 43k.
Yeah, nothing too bad. The Baron's still up for both teams. MCOM clearing out some vision now. They're not quite grouped for it. Jacko once again in the bot lane. He's got his TP almost up this time. Looks like we might see a bit of a 1v1 here. Nope, steps over the ward. Looks like they'll just be bouncing waves back and forth. No jungler attention to the bot side. They're not going to try and look for any plays, especially while the Baron's up. A little bit too risky.
And it does look like Jacko has redeemed himself a little bit after that TP int play that he made over in the bot side jungle. He's now 6-2, and he's definitely the star of his team for this very moment, alongside VJagger on the Ornn, who's done a lot as well.
Interestingly, Wukong gone towards the Black Cleaver. Isn't an item I see very often. I think it's a little bit underrated. However, his team doesn't really have very much AD damage. Aside from the Camille, the Varus is kind of like a mix between both. The Azir obviously full AP. Not sure how to feel about it. I think I would have rather see the Death Stance. A little bit more of a characteristic item. These bruises, pretty strong at the moment.
Yeah, it's a good thing to point out. I honestly feel like we don't see a lot of Black Cleaver at all anymore. Majority of the chance that you typically would find building it, they just don't bother anymore. And that's been partially, I'd say, pretty much ever since Mythics kind of came out. Which, as you said, it is an underrated item. It can be very useful.
Oh, no, you do not want to stand in the Aphelios turret. You're going to regret that. I don't think they're going to have enough HP to be able to contest this dragon now. Very unfortunate. Hextech Dragon, said before, probably the most powerful dragon at the moment. Just chaining off of the wave and slowing people as they're trying to run away. Just keep on slowing them. 5 people hit the wave and it slows them for like 5 seconds in total. Insanely strong.
Yeah, it looks like MCOM going to pick this one up uncontested.
They won't be able to do the Baron, but they'll probably try to clear out a bit of vision. Try to see if they can get MCOM the face check into them. Damage coming down onto the Wukong. Nothing can come of it. Camille looking for the Tahm Kench. I'm not sure that's who you want to go on. Has no choice since the Tahm Kench ulti is coming down. Galio ulti, a lot of disengage, steps on the gravity well, a lot of damage coming down onto the Wukong. Viego manages to pick up the Wukong, and the Azir ulti doesn't do enough damage to pick up anyone. Victor kills the last one. Jack and friends walking towards the enemy base. Looks like they might be able to end. They're going to try and look for something here. They're going to at least get the inhib and then go Baron. I think they might be looking for the end, though.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of maybe impatience coming out from the side of Cletus in the top lane.
Speaking of impatience,
just a little bit there. Luckily, you had the stopwatch to pop. But yeah, look, it just seemed like impatience. I mean, it happens to the best of us. You know, you're sitting there, you're looking, you're waiting for a play, you're expecting something to happen, and it doesn't. And you try and force something, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way. I'd say more often than not it doesn't, because you are on that side of just wanting to make something happen.
Yeah, they're in a bit of a tricky situation where if they're grouped, you can't really engage on the Aphelios or the Victor because they have the Tahm Kench, and you can't really engage on the Tahm Kench because he's Tahm Kench.
And same can be said for, unfortunately, for the Ornn as well. It isn't going to do you a lot to engage on either of the tankier targets, and it's going to be quite hard to engage on any of the squishy ones. May just be how the rest of this game continues to play out, but
Bit of a white lining for the VSP team is that MCOM decided they didn't want the free Baron and they'd prefer to take the inhib. Obviously, a bit of a miscalculation.
Was the case. It looks like they might be clearing vision now for a potential force fight or maybe just a Baron, depending on if VSP wants to contest this one.
Yep, the ornaments are finally coming through. Obviously, we have I think it's the Zugzigski on the Aphelios and the Luden's Pulse for the Victor. You have to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure you don't know
I could not tell you any of the order item names there, unfortunately. As with MCOM looking to grab the Baron here, it's reasonably uncontested for the moment, but VSP are closing in.
Yep, they decide to get off of it. They're not quite sure where the Camille is. She's dropped the TP. Looks like they've just tried to get that. Yep. Like nothing will quite come of it. They might just try and start it again after they get this. Not allowing VSP to recall. Aphelios Gun's really strong at melting this. This is going to go really quickly. We see the Azir hitting the Krugs. Already at 7k. Jack poking over the wall. Wukong is able to get over the wall with his clone. Might look for it. They've jumped off. Obviously, have no way to stop the Wukong. Going the Ornn isn't going to work. This definitely isn't what you want to do. Camille gets blown up. Viego takes the reset. Able to snowball onto the Varus. He dies as well. Just really not who you can be engaging on in this team. Seems like they're a bit pressured. Oh, Azir managed to pick up a couple. Wukong ulting in. A lot of damage coming through. The Victor goes down to the Viego.
Very interesting turnaround there, and if only this had happened a little bit earlier when the rest of the team members were still up, maybe something could have come of it. All it's going to do for now is delay.
20 seconds.
Ornn is, looking to end here. I'm sure Viego is going to chase down this Wukong, and it looks like the Ornn can end.
If the minions spawn, it might not be over. Viego managed to pick up the Wukong. See the Nexus health, minion spawning. That looks like that'll be the end.
Looks like that'll be game. Very anticlimactic ending there, but it is what it is. We did see the game start to spiral out of control in the last 5 minutes or so for the side of MCOM. Still a reasonably close gold kind of deficit there. It was only 1.5k gold ahead with that end. Of course, they didn't pick up the Baron, which would have given them that extra gold. They just went straight for the end there. But either way, very back and forth. A couple of mistakes coming out from VSP, which really lost them the game, but still a very interesting one.
It's just kind of at this point, you have the Ornn versus the Camille. The Camille isn't very far ahead, and she's not really side laning. So you have the big beefy tank giving everyone stats, and just the kind of shitty engage that doesn't really do anything and gets blown up.
Yeah, it looks like that will be the end for our 3 games today. I would say going through the games, they went just about how we, for the most part, expected them. That being said, I'm actually quite impressed by Vespertine in this last game. Of course I have to be. I can't talk shit to them, especially on stream. But that being said, overall, some mistakes, things that they can definitely work on. But I'm proud of the guys tonight, and I'm also quite proud of Jacko and his team tonight as well. So great games from everyone, and definitely was a fun one.
Absolutely.
Okay, and we will definitely be back again next week, as we are running this weekly. So next week will be week 3, where we should be showing off Group 1 again, although we will confirm that as we get closer to the date. Be sure to keep an eye on our Discord. And sorry, give me one moment while I just switch over to our casting desk. Okay, keep an eye on our Discord for announcements, as well as that our social media over on Twitter. So that's at VSP Esports. You should see that linked down below or above, or you'll see it everywhere in the overlay. But don't forget to follow us on socials, check out our Discord, and keep in contact. We'll be back next week with, I'm hoping, some amazing games to display as well. We'll see you guys then.